Yes, it was, Jimmy. Yes, it was. They are the Toronto Maple Leafs.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Thursday. And then there were two. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton. Thanks so much for listening. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
I'm good. Thoroughly enjoyed the match yesterday. I feel badly for my English friends that are fans. I don't feel badly for the team because, and I guess maybe I do a little bit because that was going into prevent defense too early. The only thing, what's the line?
The only thing the prevent defense does is prevent you from winning.
Uh-huh. And I couldn't remember yesterday the winger that I liked. It was Gordon, the guy that scored. He's fast as all get up. And they pulled him out. I'm like, wow, they're pulling him. And I'm not a soccer expert. I'm like, oh, they're going defense early here. What happens if this gets 1-1? And I wasn't thinking about losing at that point. I was thinking, are you sure you want to go defense? You think you're going to keep them off the board for the whole game and that this is not going to be played longer and we're going to take off offensive players at this point? You really think you can hold this team scoreless with the way the game's gone? And I said to my wife before they scored, the goaltender had made a great save. I said, he's got to make 2 more minimum. And he made 1 more, then a post was hit, and then, well, Argentina came.
Well, and like you said to your wife, they were already coming. They were coming. And you know when you're constantly looking at the clock, that's when you know you're on the defensive. Okay. And I was looking at the clock. Okay, for England. All right, because, yeah, you felt it. And I agree with you in this sense. I mean, first off, I thought it might take 3 to win this match. You know, I thought it was going to go to stoppage and then overtime and penalty kicks at 2-2. I mean, I thought we were going to get some scoring in this match. And so I'm with you. When they started, substituting out offensive guys, and I'm thinking to myself, you really think one's going to be good enough?
There's 30 minutes left in this game. This is early second half when they start this. It's like,
right, because 10, 12 minutes into the second half was when they scored, and then shortly after the substitutions come, and it's like, I don't know. 2-0, do whatever you want, but 1-0? I don't know. Seems a little early to me. It seems like we're running the ball twice into the line, trying to complete passes on 3rd and 7. Okay. And we go 0 for 3 in the fourth quarter on 3rd down conversions. And next thing you know, our defense is like, the field position's bad. We're getting tired. Could you help us out a little bit? And the answer was no.
And when you take out your speed, look at Argentina controlled the scoring opportunities throughout the game, even when England had the lead. Argentina looked to be the better offensive team for the entire match. However, when a team's I do know this much, David. When the other team's trying to score and putting every effort into scoring a goal, there is this thing called the counter. And you know what really makes a counter deadly? Speed. I don't give a damn about the sport. So, they all rave about the tactical move of moving Messi to the right side, brought defenders with him. Obviously, that worked. This just in, he's really effing good.
I don't know why this never entered into my overanalyzing brain before, but if anybody could watch a sporting event and overanalyze a 3-car funeral, it's me. But when he helped pull off what he helped pull off yesterday, for the first time, I thought to myself, oh my goodness, this is Jordan. This is exactly how the Knicks and the Cavs and then the Pacers, this is exactly how they all felt in the Eastern Conference in the 90s. This is like playing Jordan. He's not going to let you win. He's not. Okay, and that's kind of what it felt like. I'm like, which is another reason why pulling guys when it's 1-0, it's like, you got to put a stake through their heart.
Yes. And even then, because we've watched them down 2-0 come back.
Right.
So even a stake isn't necessarily the only way to kill Argentina. But yes.
But it's yesterday for the first time, I thought to myself, well, it's been 30 years, but I remember what this felt like as a Knicks fan playing the Bulls in the 90s. And they had Jordan and you didn't. And at the end, that was the series. And they got Messi and you don't.
And I was, there was part of me for the American sports fan that was bitter that you may have been at work and could, like, my son didn't get to see it. He was working all day. I texted him a couple times. He's like, I missed it. He was bummed. I yelled at my daughter last night.
Whoa.
1-1. No. I'm like, get down here. Come on, sit down. We're watching. Watch Messi. Something's going to happen. I'm telling you right now. Like, it was one of those. I'm like, no. You need to see this. You know just enough about this sport.
Yep.
You know this guy's the GOAT. Watch him. And I was happy that I did that. I was like, there's just, I remember you telling a story years ago that your grandfather called your mom and said, get him up for Hank Aaron's home run, I believe it was. And there are certain things, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But you know what I mean? There are certain times you just want to make sure, because maybe this kid from Spain is going to be all that. And maybe 12, 16 years from now, she's still watching him. But she plays the sport. She's no great soccer player, but she plays. She's competitive. And it's like, this is what it looks like at the highest level.
Ever, by the way.
This is brilliance.
Not just the highest level now. This could be the highest level ever. So, damn.
It was amazing.
You and I root for greatness.
Okay?
Right. We've said that from the beginning of our 20-year run. And even if it breaks our heart, even if it's on the other team, whatever the case may be. And I was rooting for England, and I was rooting pretty hard. But, man, he's awesome to watch. He really is. Even if they had lost 1-0, they continued to hit posts and crossbars. He, still was amazing to watch, even though the ball had yet to reach the back of the net.
I know. Awesome. I love you going MJ. I would go more Gretzky, because Gretzky didn't always need to score to be the best player on the ice. True. MJ had to score to be the best player. I mean, that's just who he was. And that's how that sport is played. But last night, they were defending him in a way that they said, we're not going to let Messi score. He said, really? Fine. Okay. I'll just keep passing.
Right. Gretzky
and brilliant passes, one after another. And don't take anything. Well, that goal by Fernandez to make it 1-1 was just unbelievable.
The bender?
Yeah.
The irony that David Beckham is in the house and the guy from Argentina bent it like Beckham to tie it at 1. Boy, he looked heartbroken afterwards. Heartbroken.
They all were. I mean, and it was a filthy, dirty soccer game. I mean, there's no doubt that there's long-standing animosity between these two nations when it comes to the pitch. Yes, I went pitch for maybe the first time ever, and probably the last time ever.
I think it is the first time during this World Cup. Well, Messi said it afterwards. He said this one was for the fans. He said this was the match that basically we'd have trouble looking our fans in the eyes if we had lost this one. This was the one our fans wanted. So
quick tangent. The daughter's down and they show Jagger. My daughter says out loud, "Whose grandma is that?" Grandma.
That's outstanding. That's outstanding.
So that's the lead singer of the Rolling Stones, honey.
Right. And he is rooting for England. Right. By the way, is he a sir?
I don't think so. I mean,
how could that be?
They give them to everybody.
Well, but they took forever. They took 20 years before they gave it to Beckham. Okay, people are bent out of shape. They haven't given it to Rory yet. Okay, but I was just sitting here thinking, have we ever referred to him as Sir Mick? I mean, there's Sir Nick.
No, there's Sir Paul.
Right.
I mean, the only musician I can think of is Sir Paul. I don't know. I don't recall other.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I'd go Sir Robert and Sir Jimmy before I'd go Sir Mick, but Mick may deserve it more. That's just me. But no, I don't believe so.
Well, we could just, devote 1 year to, taking care of the musical folks that have been ignored, and we could put all three in 1 year. The music at that ceremony would be phenomenal.
Maybe the Chucky there likes music more than Ma did.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we have to wait till William takes over. I don't know.
I'd like to do a remake of King Tut and do King Chuck. That might be my weekend project.
Funky Chuck?
Right, Funky Chuck. Miller and Moulton. What, magic numbers? 44, 55?
Yep. Got some symmetry with our numbers today.
Sure do. We got a lot of 55s. Every sport participates in this number. Every sport with some great players. That'll be a fun discussion later on. Pat Kirwan to join the show later this morning. We'll talk some baseball with Kyle Sielaff from the Marlins. They're a playoff team right now.
Hello.
The starting five, 25 minutes away, and the Open Championship is underway across the pond. Miller and Moulton.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move. From pricing your home to negotiating the best deal, I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and the best personal service. That's the difference.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Did you look at that text?
Yeah.
Pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yes.
That's all done with ChatGPT. All of it. I did not type hardly anything. Great question, Alan. I like that. And I've had watermelon, strawberries, and raspberries all this week in the form of sherbet and gelato. All really good. I'm going to go with the strawberry gelato as the winner for the record. I mean, the raspberry gelato as a winner. Yeah, I was stunned at how well that turned out. I needed that for a potential client. They asked for a coverage map, and I'm like, how are we going to do that? Millions of peaches, peaches for me. Millions of peaches, peaches for free. Thomas Dietrich, your clubhouse leader, he's already done. It's 6:17 a.m. Eastern, and Dietrich's already done for the day.
4 hours and 42 minutes after the first tee time.
I don't think he'll be the leader when the day ends. I did not at that moment. I trust me, I will, Jay Gunn. Did he? I woke up twice in the middle of the night. You know, it's about my usual. The one was at 4:30, and I'm like, do I want 45 more minutes of sleep, or do I want to watch the Open? I opted for B. Yes, JS. Very good. That's a good pull on the band. Not going to lie. That's a tremendous pull on the band. Jagger is a sir. Okay.
Yeah, I was looking it up here. There's 16 of them, I guess. Musicians.
Gotcha.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. The starting five coming up in a little more than 15 minutes. So it is Sir Mick Jagger. He was knighted in the early 2000s. I think it was 2003. It's Sir Tom Jones. You got McCartney, Ringo, Elton John. There's a couple of honorary ones out there that because they're, I don't know, not English, they're honorary
Wait a minute.
knighthood.
How do you get to be a sir if you're not English?
I know. Okay, I know.
I think, do we give the Presidential Medal of Freedom to non-citizens? I think we do. So
Like Bono, he's got one.
And he accepted it.
He's honorary, yes.
Yeah, but he accepted it.
Yes.
Wonder what they think of that in Dublin.
And
I'm serious. Like, that to me is interesting.
Yeah.
They don't like one another. This just in.
Yes, right. Their version of North versus South. Right.
Exactly.
Only it's still going.
Thank you.
Not as hot and heavy as it was. We have to acknowledge that. We've toned it down a lot.
Just not at the corner of I-4 and 75.
Exactly. Right. Van Morrison, received, he's Sir Rod Stewart, by the way. So, there's a few. Ray Davies. All right.
That makes me happy. That makes me happy. I'm a big Kinks fan.
Right. Barry Gibb, his two brothers had passed when he got the knighthood 8 years ago. So I'm trying to find because I saw a quote attributed to. By the way, Brian May, the guitarist for Queen. Okay, and Chuck gave him his knighthood.
Okay.
He was only 3 years ago.
So the Who and Zeppelin have no knights. No Sir Roger Daltrey, no Sir Robert Plant.
No, those, but they're honorary. Clapton, Sting, Daltrey, Plant, Rick Wakeman, are commanders.
They're commanders.
Commanders, right.
Not a sir. The sir can tell the commander what to do.
Then there are officers. Commander, officer, member of the.
That crap. Either make me a sir or leave me out of this.
Well, maybe they figure, well, if I say no to this, I'll never make it to the top of the pyramid.
I don't know.
I stay at the $10,000 pyramid. I mean, they want to put you at the bottom of the pyramid. You want to get to the top. Don't you have to say yes to the bottom?
You know what those subjects were at the bottom of the pyramid? I mean, come on.
I know. Annie Lennox, Elvis Costello, Alan Parsons are officers.
Yeah. How's the project doing? I mean, Alan Parsons is an officer. Is the project anything?
The project doesn't even make the bottom row of the pyramid, apparently. And those that are members, MBE, members of the British Empire, Adele, Ed Sheeran, Bonnie Tyler, the recently passed Bonnie Tyler. So there you have. But Mick is
Sir Mick.
It is Sir Nick.
Sir Mick.
And Sir Mick. There's both, in honor of the Open Championship. I do find it. I'm glad they drew the line, though. I mean, because if you make Keith Richards a sir, then all bets are off. Who can't unite? If
you want someone to be a knight forever, unite Keith Richards because he will never die.
That is
nuclear war comes. Keith Richards and a cockroach are walking down the street. Richards looks at the cockroach and says, "Got a smoke?"
Right. Okay. Yes. Why do we need a bomb shelter for? Just find me where Keith Richards is. I'm going to sit on the couch next to him. We'll be fine.
Damn right.
Right. So, all right. So just, we got to get that cleared
All
up.
right, good. And then maybe more on the royal family later in the program.
And apparently, and you have to win the world. Although Beckham was finally knighted.
I will say, yesterday I'm playing golf, and one of my buddies, his kid played college soccer, so he was all in. The other two could have given two blanks
Right.
about it, except for the fact that when the one found out, my buddy Gino from Boston, and he's a character, when he found out if England won, they were going to move the start times of the Open up, he became a gigantic Argentina fan.
Wow.
He was so pissed at the thought that his American ass had to get up earlier to watch the Open champ. What do you mean they're for the golf? Are you kidding? I mean, he was incredulous that they would do that. Like, he couldn't understand why that would even happen. It cracked me up.
Man, talk about being a bit of a snob. Okay. Hell, if England was in the World Cup final, I'm a little surprised they wouldn't have moved the final round of the Open to Monday, for goodness sakes. Are you kidding? There might be 84 people on the grounds of the final round of the Open Championship if England had won.
But if you have a Maple Leaf fan in your life, you now know how they feel. You may not know anybody from England. If you have, I don't know, what, a Cleveland Browns, Buffalo Bills fan in your life.
Right.
Probably
Browns
the Bills are closer because the Browns haven't done much in a long time. England seems to, they get to a quarter. They're in the tournament every year, if you know what I mean.
Right. They are very much the Bills, who have been contenders. They had a rough, I'd say, half of the last 35 years. 20 of the 35 years they've been in it. You felt they were a contender. The other 15 years, they took those off. They were in transition.
And the Leafs lately haven't been, but the Leafs are kind of, to me, are similar because the Leafs have disappointed. They've had high expectations and disappointed. And man, did England disappoint yesterday. And then after the game, one of their stars acted like a horse's ass, slapping a player in the back of the head for no reason, none whatsoever. You can watch the video from 60 different angles. And Bellingham there slapped a player from Argentina, a little pushing, but it had a bit of everything. It was on the dirty side, completely. The first half was as physical as you see that sport get. And then, well, England went into a shell. They parked the bus, and you know what? It wasn't big enough. It wasn't big enough.
In fact, we're going to have to point out the next time in a big game, no matter the sport, that somebody goes into the prevent defense and wins. Because we all have games, whether it was our favorite team or it was just a big game, in which teams, no matter the sport, go into the shell, the prevent defense, and it prevents them from winning. And I don't know when that game's going to be and what sport that's going to be. But, just trying to hold on to that 1-goal lead in the third period and you get outshot 19-3. It's tough to win that game.
Right. Miss 8 threes in a row. It's tough to win that game. Not that you can play a prevent defense in the NBA, but maybe they should have.
Well, Oklahoma City managed to pull it off in the finals. So, can't play prevent. That we do know.
The Open Championship underway, and this guy you may have heard of is off to a great start. His name's Scotty Scheffler. He's tied for the lead. He's only played 5 holes.
I was going to say he's been out there an hour and a half.
A bunch of them at 3 under. Thomas Dietrich. He's in the clubhouse already at 300. We'll get you caught up with everything you may have missed next. The starting 5, Miller and Moulton.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape. The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Good luck, EB.
Yeah, I hope it takes. My wife had to get one of them done twice.
You'll be fine, EP. My buddy had both of his done, worked out fine. Another one had it done, worked out fine. You'll be good. Listen to the doctors, do everything they say. You know the drill.
Yeah, most people, it takes. Rough 2 to 3 weeks. Then you'll be good.
Oh, John Rahm just missed a 3-footer for birdie. 4, maybe.
That would have gotten him to 2 under.
Yes, it would have. You know who's impressed me is Alex Fitzpatrick. I mean, he got all that crap because he got into the signature events and
all because on the back of his brother who carried them at the Zurich.
Yeah, well, and he's played his tail off since then.
Doesn't he have like 4 top 10s?
Yeah, I don't know if the number's 4, but he's been in a bunch of tournaments. He's played really well. Like, he's backed this up and then some. Like, I'm just impressed by that. Oh, Scheffler just made the second birdie of the day on 6, rolled in about a 25-footer.
He's your leader.
Uh-oh. He's putting, everybody. I could be really snarky right now, Paula, but I'm going to refrain. I'm just going to opt to not say anything. I did 2, LW, but I think I'm going to have 2 today. I'm going to have to make a new batch here.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes to the top of the hour. Pat Kirwan joins us later on in the show to talk all things NFL. We are 55 days away from the start of the NFL season, just 44 days away from the start of the college season. But Pat Kirwan in our 8 a.m. Eastern hour. Kyle Sielaff, play-by-play voice of the Miami Marlins. That's your wild card, Miami Marlins. Thank you very much. So Kirwan and Sielaff coming up in a bit. This is Mark's favorite segment of the show today. Not usually, but today it's his favorite because he gets to watch 15 minutes of golf and not have to pay attention after he plays the theme music for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
We'll start with the World Cup, and then there were 2. The top 2 teams in the world, according to FIFA. Argentina ranked number 1, Spain ranked number 2. Argentina trailing, entering the 85th minute yesterday against England. Scored to tie it, and then during stoppage time, scored to win it. Argentina 2-1. Messi set up both goals. Argentina attempted 15 shots to England's 5. Argentina had 5 shots on goal to England's 2. 2-1 Argentina. They're trying to repeat as World Cup champions. Spain won the World Cup in 2010. The third place match is late Saturday afternoon. It's in Miami, England and France at Hard Rock Stadium. 5 o'clock Eastern is the third place match, England and France.
It's for the channel. Winner gets the channel. They'll rename it.
One might gladly give it away and the other might not take it. Baseball. It resumes tonight with 1 game, Mets and Phillies, then everybody else back in action tomorrow. Milwaukee and Houston made a trade. 2 pitchers go from Houston to Milwaukee. One of them's Lance McCullers. When he's healthy, he's good. Most of the last 6 years, he hasn't been healthy. But he was one of only 3 Astros that were still with the team who won both World Series. Now it's just Altuve and Correa. Houston gets back, however, from Milwaukee, an outfielder DH by the name of Jaden Fielder. And if you're wondering, Fielder, yep, Cecil's grandson and Prince's son. Yet to make the majors, but considered a decent prospect. Ohtani, by the way, he had missed a couple of games heading into the break. He announced that he will play, at least hit. Don't know if he'll pitch, but he will at least hit for the Dodgers this weekend when LA is in the Bronx to face the Yankees in what Fox hopes is a World Series preview. The British Open, underway as of 5 hours ago. And your leader is defending champion Scottie Scheffler. He birdied 4 of his first 6 holes. Birdies on 2, 3, 5, and 6. He's 4 under. There's 6 other golfers that are 1 shot back, including Germany's Thomas Dietrich. The reason I mention him, he was in one of the first 3 groups of the day, and he posted a 67. No one else has posted a score under par. A couple of other name golfers that are 3 under include Robert McIntyre. Okay? So there you go. I know a few people got a few shekels on the lefty. We'll see if he can keep it together for all 72. Those that are 2 shots back right now include Victor Hovland and Bryson DeChambeau. They're both on their front 9s. So there you go. John Rahm, 1 under through 5. NFL, Alvin Kamara reworks his contract to remain with the Saints. Scheduled to make $11.5 million this year. We don't know what he'll make, but we know that going forward this year, only $3 million of it is guaranteed. So Kamara, who has said publicly he wants to retire as a New Orleans Saint, will apparently be 1 year closer to doing so. ACC Media Days are underway. Remember Bo Prabula, backup quarterback at Penn State, who transferred from Penn State before their semifinal game against Notre Dame, and that was a close game late, and they used him in short yardage 3rd down situations, but obviously he was unavailable in the semis against Notre Dame, and they had a key interception late and lost the semifinal. Well, Prabula is going to be the starting quarterback at Virginia, and remember, your regular season champion last year in the ACC was Virginia. They won 11 games last year.
He transferred from Penn State to Missouri, right?
Correct.
And now Missouri to Virginia, just to review his 3-year free agency rundown.
Right. By the way, the ACC also officially changes their tiebreaker because last year they had a 5-way tie for joining Virginia in the title game, and Duke ended up winning that tiebreaker, even though Duke had 5 losses. So you had a 7-5 team playing for the ACC championship. And when it looked like Miami was not going to make the playoff, and there they were sitting there at 10-2. Well, the ACC now, Mark, is saying they will determine who plays in the ACC championship game based on their, quote, body of work, unquote. Boy, nothing.
So, how about just the college football playoff rankings?
Right.
I mean, this is really easy. Why overthink this? We're going to have a committee? It's just asinine.
Because nothing nefarious or controversial could happen if we leave it up to a team's, quote, body of work, unquote. NBA. Well, they're getting serious about this NBA Europe idea. So much so that while they're in Jersey getting ready for the World Cup championship, apparently Adam Silver is going to be meeting with quite a few rich Europeans who are all planning on being at the World Cup final. Well, now they're going to have business meetings for a day and a half with the NBA to put together an NBA Europe, which they claim will start in the fall of next year. NBA Europe. We had NFL Europe. A lot of people liked it. It lost money, but a lot of people liked it. I don't think the NBA is going to lose money on NBA Europe because, first off, you've got to bid for your franchise.
Well,
So
it's very different. They're not fronting the money. NFL Europe was paid for by the NFL. This is the NBA is going to win. These owners may lose their ass, but the NBA for this league, this is for profit. They're winning.
Yes.
I mean, big money for these franchises. This isn't cheap.
No, I'd be curious what they go for and how many they start with. WNBA last night, Golden State won their 8th in a row, beat Caitlin Clark in Indiana 88-75. I will say, and a lot of us are fans of hers, but she needs to be thrown out of a game. She's getting pretty bratty. I'm guessing virtually no one listening.
She got pushed to the ground last night. And then what was it, a foul on the other end? She got shoved. I mean, and then Biggie Tech won the other way and she blew up. Yeah.
Lost her mind.
Should have got a T.
At least. Okay. Don't get me wrong. The officiating in the league sucks, but that's as bad as I've seen a basketball official showing up in years. Okay. And she didn't even get a technical. So anyway, Minnesota beat LA 96-87. Chicago beat Seattle 95-90. Hockey, Steve Yzerman out as the guy calling the shots in Detroit. And they didn't promote his assistant GM yet either.
Yet.
We'll
Curious two things. One, if they promote him, it means nothing. If Chris Draper gets the job, then it's the same old, same old. Secondly, who's going to take the job? What assistant GM in Florida, Tampa, Dallas, good franchises will take that job? Or will they say, Yzerman, senior advisor, he's still pulling the purse strings, I'm not doing this?
Well, that's what we have to find out. He is the assistant to the owner. So does he ultimately have final say if the next GM works out a deal and Yzerman says to Chris Ilitch, I don't know about that? Will Ilitch veto it? Or will this GM pretty much have autonomy? Got to admit, Mark, like there are certain jobs that came available. Like, would I rather be the GM of the Maple Leafs or the Red Wings? The Red Wings, because they're a lot closer to winning.
Ooh,
okay.
You think so?
Yeah. Toronto's got nothing in the system. I don't think the roster they have right now is a playoff roster. And they don't have many resources available for a while to be able to help it. Meanwhile, you and I think Detroit's roster has been a playoff roster for the last couple of years that Yzerman didn't augment at the deadline to ensure that it was a playoff team. Plus,
it was a borderline playoff roster that needed help, and he never got it done. But
plus, also, this Dylan Larkin thing is interesting.
Right? They lost a draft pick this year for a guy that stunk. I mean,
right?
I don't know.
Horrible trade. It made a horrible trade at the deadline for not even a top 4 defenseman, and he gave away an unprotected lottery pick. It was terrible. NHL also announced yesterday everyone's home opener, not season opener, but home opener. If you're waiting for the regular season schedule, you'll have to wait about 6 more hours. It comes out at 1 o'clock Eastern, noon Central, for when the NHL 2027 season will be released. Remember, they've added 2 games to the schedule from 82 to 84, and it means that the season starts September 29th.
And just like they stuck it to the Panthers last year, they're sticking it to the Carolina Hurricanes this year, because the triple header opener for Carolina is at 5 p.m. because we get Rangers and Bruins at 8.
And meanwhile, the last 3 Stanley Cup champions, the Panthers and the Hurricanes, will face each other, and they'll do so at 5 o'clock. We joked last year the Panthers playing at 5 wasn't the worst thing in the world because, well, we like to do things earlier in Florida. Get the eating over with, get the entertainment over with, etc. But, Mark, I don't think Raleigh's ready to go at 5 o'clock. I think they would have appreciated another couple hours.
They like to tailgate for these games, David. And look at, I mean, tell me right now on the range. I know they're original 6 teams. I know they're big markets. And I know they will probably draw better than Carolina and Florida. But what's the draw for the Rangers right now? Who's the player that you want to see? Their goaltender?
That'd be it.
Boston has Pasternak. You got the Kachuk brothers, and you got the defending champs, and you're putting them at 5. This is a garbage move by the NHL. Garbage.
Second year in a row. Second year in a row. And, for one day out of 200, you can't tip your cap to the Stanley Cup champion and give them the 7:30, 8 o'clock dropping of the puck. They earned it. They won the cup. Give them some respect. This was like the one time that the NFL, I think Baltimore won the Super Bowl, and like Patriots Steelers was the first game of the year the next year. And it was like, come on, guys. What are you doing? And they've never done it again. Florida's first game, by the way, is against Carolina, and it's on opening night or opening late afternoon, September 29th. The Lightning's first game of the year appears to be October 1st at the Rangers. We'll know for sure in 6 hours. And at 7 minutes before the hour, that was starting 5 big stories you needed to know here on Miller and Moulton. Scheffler with a bogey on 7 to fall back into a 5-way tie for the lead. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe. and
The
sound.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move. From pricing your home to negotiating the best deal, I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and the best personal service. That's the difference.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I will say, Brian, they hired a tool as a GM. I know they made the. We'll see if their moves were good or not. Their moves were very much questioned. So we'll see. And he's got to figure out a way to keep Austin Matthews. And I don't know if that'll happen. But I would rather be Toronto than Detroit right now. Detroit's got two good players. Two. That's it. One's excellent. One would be an elite player on any team in the league. The other, I think, is a first liner on 85% of the teams in the league. But after that, they've got nothing. They're garbage.
I thought Messi was tied with Mbappe in goals scored because I thought the Golden Boot's number of goals scored. Or is he one ahead? And I have no idea, Sonny, if the third place game counts.
It does. If they're tied in goals, it goes to apples.
Gotcha. But the third place game counts?
It does.
Wow.
And if they're the first tiebreaker is minutes, but they both will have played the same number of games. So, and I don't know if extra time then counts, but it says if Oh, I'm sorry. Assist is the second tiebreaker. Fewest minutes, the third tiebreaker, if they're still tied.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Thursday. Pat Kirwan, 1 hour from now to talk all things NFL. We're just 55 days away from the start of the NFL season. 56 days away. 8 weeks tonight, we go to Australia for Rams Niners. 44 days away, 6 weeks Saturday, 44 days away to week 0 and the start of the college football season. 44, 55, your magic numbers.
For the record, Virginia and NC State or TCU North Carolina, your best games on week 0. USC plays. They're a 35.5-point favorite over San Jose State.
Well, that's who they replaced Notre Dame on the schedule with.
But Virginia, a 6-point favorite over NC State. TCU, a 6.5-point favorite over North Carolina. Florida State plays against New Mexico State.
And I guess the theme for the Florida State players that were at ACC Media Days is urgency. We need to win this year. More important, UCF or Florida State to go bowling this year?
Well, to me, it's always the answer to that question is always Florida State. But because they just have a bigger fan base, they're a bigger part of the college football fabric. But inside of each program, I think it's really equal. I mean, if we're just going to go micro with, this is to me for UCF a monster year. Couple of reasons. Frost believes that he has worked the culture thing out or whatever it is he needed to do to establish his style of play. He thinks that last year he got through all that. They understand how he coaches, what he does. They went out and spent good money on a quarterback.
What's he making, 3?
They don't post him, but yeah, I think that's right. But it's the most they've ever paid for a player, David.
That's a lot of money.
And they expect him to deliver. And UCF, they've got a bunch of games that are winnable. So I'm fascinated by their year, David, because they, at best, to me, are a 7-5 team. Like 8-4 would exceed expectations. So they have Bethune-Cookman. They have Georgia State. Those are your guaranteed wins. The rest of the games are good teams, or at least average teams, or conference games. September 12th, they go to Pitt. They'll probably be a 3 to 5 point underdog in that game, I would imagine, David.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if it was more than 7. Maybe it could get in the 6 range, but put it this way, though. It's a winnable road game.
Right. Their first 4, Bethune-Cookman at Pitt, Georgia State, TCU. Could they pull off 3-1?
They need to. They need to because, they need to start winning road games. And they've been awful on the road for 3 years now. So they need to start winning some road games.
And Pitt's fascinating because you think of Pitt of being a bigger bullying type team than UCF. Where's UCF been horrendous since joining the Big 12?
Line of
Stop the
scrimmage.
run. They can't stop the run.
Right. So I think it's a more important season for Florida State for this sense that if he goes a third year in a row, Mark, without taking them to a bowl, that I think they find the money and they move on from Norvell. Because I don't think they can get any money from anybody who normally gives money if they go 3 consecutive years without going to a bowl and you keep him for the next season. I just think all the money people just literally sit on their wallets and go, not until he's gone, not a dime.
But just back to UCF for a minute, just not necessarily the schedule game, but then these are all after TCU, at Houston, at Oklahoma State. Houston's expected to be pretty decent.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be a 10-point underdog in that game. 7-10. At Oklahoma State's fascinating. That's a brand new roster. That's a new coach. That's like 50 new players on that team. I have no idea, but they've spent money.
Mark, I thought I heard it was like 83 new players, in all seriousness, that they literally just, everybody who was there for Gundy's last year wanted out, and those that didn't, the new coach said, I encourage you to leave.
And they're picked to be Oklahoma State, that is. They are picked, at least by Phil Steele, to be 12th in the conference. So that's a road game that, to me, if you're going to be a 7-win team, you have to win.
Yes.
Then they come home for BYU and Baylor. Baylor also picked in the bottom third of the league. Can you beat BYU? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, realistically, you're an underdog in that game. They're a better team than you are. They are. I'm sorry. If you won, it would be an upset and your students would run on the field. Okay? That's the type of win that would be. And it would be great because I think you kind of need one of those.
Yeah. They could use, what we call in basketball a court storming.
Right.
They could use one of those. The one thing I will say, looking at the schedule generically, like they had BYU, I think, on the road last year. I think they had Utah on the road, or Texas Tech. I thought they played the top 4 teams in the Big 12 last year, Mark, and they played all of them or 3 out of 4 on the road.
They didn't play Utah, but you're right. They played Texas Tech. They played BYU. They played Baylor. They played Cincinnati and Kansas State on the road. I mean, they played the upper end of the conference on the road.
And my understanding is they don't play 2 of those teams this year, and they get 2 of those teams at home this year. So their schedule on quote paper looks softer. Last year's schedule, you go back and look at it, it was a pretty damn difficult schedule.
No, it was. David, that's exactly my point, because you're right. You go to Oklahoma, Houston's a good team, but they go to Kansas. They go to Colorado. Not much is expected out of either of those teams.
So can you get 1 or 2 of those road wins, which makes all the difference in the world? That's the difference between 5-7 and 7-5. Now
they play at Colorado November 28th. That's a tough task for Florida kids. It is. I don't care if Colorado's good, bad, or indifferent. But they host, after the they host Baylor, they host Arizona State. They're way down. Their quarterback left for LSU. So remember that. They host Iowa State. That whole team's in Happy Valley.
Could UCF at Colorado be winner goes to a bowl, loser stays home?
Well, they've got to me, David, they've got to figure out a way to go 6-1 at home. They have 7 home games. If they lose to BYU, can they beat TCU?
Okay.
Yeah. Then you sneak in 1 road game. Maybe you're playing Colorado to go 8-4. And I think that would be a good season for this team. I do.
Agreed. And listen, I think I don't think they'd fire Deion because they got too much money invested, and he brings in a lot of money to the program also. But if Colorado doesn't go to a bowl this year, I think Deion starts 2027 on the hot seat.
Well, Colorado season ticket sales are down for the first time. So the fan base that was giddy about Deion, that shine is off of the helmet, so to speak. You know, I mean, it's not what it was just a couple of years ago.
They win 3 last year? Colorado? I mean, he got the job because they went 1-11. And year 3, I think he won 3 games. So, trending in the wrong direction. We shall see.
So that's just a little exercise of UCF. Florida State, Seminole fan, text the show. Like, I'm serious. What is it you expect this year? Because I have no idea. I have no idea what it is you even expect anymore. I mean, Bud Elliott doesn't even speak about him anymore. Jeff Cameron, who works in the market, quit doing his podcast as regularly as he did, and it was basically the best Florida State podcast out there. And he said, and if I'm not quoting, I'm damn close to it, if they don't care, why should I?
Ba-dum-bum.
I mean, on our show, he said that.
Yeah.
So, Knowles fan, I know there are, thousands of you out there. Maybe even tens of thousands still. I'm not sure. What the hell do you guys expect? Because, no. I mean, realistically, because you can't expect to go to an ACC championship. Do you expect to go bowling? Do you expect to win 8? What is it you're looking for this year?
Well, it's funny. Let me just play the role of a Florida State fan for 15 seconds. If you're asking me what I expect, okay, I can answer that and not be snarky. Okay. If you're asking me what I want, I'm torn between wanting to see us not be awful again. But then again, if we're awful again, we'll move on from Norvell finally. And I desperately want that.
You're becoming Nebraska, and that's not a compliment. And that might be setting the bar too high right now.
Well, I think, though, that they won't go through a generational drought, though. I don't.
Well, David, the money that you need to be an elite program has never been in Tallahassee. And I don't know are they ever going to have Texas Tech money?
No, but they've spent a lot of money the last couple of years on facilities, and now they don't have to spend money on facilities anymore. They can just spend it on players. But Norvell ain't going to get the cash. It'll have to be the next guy, Miller and Moulton.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape. If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Brian, we'll see, but I think I think they're in far better shape than Detroit. Like, I don't even think it's close. But the next 2 years are so big because if you don't turn it around, then there's no way you're keeping Matthews. And I don't know if you keep him anyhow. If you were Austin Matthews, just take off your Leafs diehard hat right now. Would you stay there? If you were an American player with what he can, I think he ends up in Utah. And I can't root against the Leafs anymore. I don't know if I can root for them, but now that I know a member of their coaching staff really well, it's hard to root against them. I don't think so either, Enzo. I really don't. But if they have 2 good years, and he's great, which he is, the money is ridiculous there. The endorsements and that and all that kind of stuff. But in 2 years, they could be trying to get McDavid when he leaves. So it's fascinating. Yeah, that's what I hear. I've seen some photos from friends. It just reminds the other thing I like about the British, David, is it reminds me of when I play because they putt from 10 yards off the green. I mean, there are things that they're doing now that the 10-12 handicapper can go, yeah, that's what I do there too.
Right.
Put the flat stick in my hand. That's a lot easier. Daniel.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Pat Kirwan will join us at the top of the hour. Kyle Sielaff, voice of the Marlins, in a little more than an hour. Here on Miller_Moulton on X. Number 55. We are 55 days away from the start of the NFL season. 8 weeks yesterday. Seahawks, Patriots. 8 weeks tonight. Rams, Niners, and Australia. And we're 44 days away from the start of the college football season. Not a great slate, week 0, but 44 and 55. Those are magic numbers on this Thursday.
Boy, I got to tell you, David, you and I are so in the minority on this part of football. It's like we actually do days until games count. The number of people that you don't watch preseason, I get that all the time. Like, no, I don't care. The only thing that matters are the injuries. Yeah, but it's football. Not really. I mean, I think I'm more interested in a, high school scrimmage than I am NFL preseason.
I think I'd be more interested in a UFL game.
Okay.
I mean, because it's tough to get the starters to play a half of the second preseason game. A half. I mean, a lot of coaches won't play their guys 2 quarters, if not for the whole damn season. I mean, there's not a single starter that plays the third and final preseason game. So that's out. And we all know they only play a couple series. I mean, you're lucky if you see a starter take a snap in the second quarter of the first preseason game, and then that leaves you the second preseason game. And I mean, the rare NFL coach will play his starters through the first series of the third quarter so that once in the preseason, they make an adjustment. Okay, they come out and they experience halftime and whatever it is we're going to do differently. But most coaches don't care about that stuff anymore.
But I guess what I'm trying to tell you, David, is despite all of those facts, people don't care about that. It's helmets and shoulder pads, and they watch, and it amazes me. But I begged for Knowles fan to text the show. David, I got texts from Gators fans. I got texts from Auburn fans. I got texts from a few or 4 other fans. You know what I didn't get any texts from? Not one Florida State fan. They have so much buried themselves, but I have to read the one text on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. He says, just a fan of college football. I'd say 5 or 6 wins, then Norvell's fired. Also, for any fan of FSU, they would just hope to be better than the New York Jets. Wow.
That's an interesting over-under because obviously one team plays 17 regular season games and the other plays 12. Okay, who will win more games this year? Florida State or the New York Jets? Because even if you think the Noles are going 5-7, or you think the Jets are going to go 5-12, never mind 6-11.
That's not bad. But it's 55 days till the start of the real NFL season. And David, 55, I mean, we can start in hoop because there's a great hooper that wore 55, an all-time great, Hall of Famer, Dikembe Mutombo. Number 55, wagging his finger at you from above. And there's, a couple of pretty good ones. I'm going a little bit further back. Loved this guy. He could score. Kiki Vanderway.
Oh, yeah. Oh, smooth mid-range game.
Yeah. And then J-Dub. Jason Williams wore it in Sacramento and wore it with the Heat. Played a few other places, but he wore 55 for, 6 of his years in the league.
Right. And as a point guard, that was odd.
Right. Hockey, there's some good ones.
Gonchar, right?
Eric Daze wore it. Good player. Sergei Gonchar wore it. Really good player. Ed Jovanowski, Jovo Cop wore it. Nicholas Cronwall, for you Red Wing fans out there, hit like a freight train. He was 55. So was Keith Premu for the Wings, for what it's worth. But, yeah, so, I mean, there's some good 55s. I don't know how great the 55 is in hockey, but some really good ones. Baseball had a bunch of solid 55s as well, David.
Oh,
And
I
one
got
great one. One great one.
all right. I got 355s off the top of my head. Hideki Matsui with the Yankees, Lincecum with the Giants,
Yep.
Hershiser.
There you go. There you go. That's pretty much your list.
Okay. All right. There's a lot of football players. Now, I don't know how many you'd consider great. I think the answer is at least 2. And there's a third that I think just qualifies. Obviously, Derek Brooks. Obviously, Junior Seau. Wasn't Joey Porter double nickel?
Joey Porter was 55.
And I think Joey Porter was a great player. I would go with those are the great ones.
Oh, I think you're missing one more.
All right, help me out.
You're missing one more. Terrell Suggs.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I mean that. I think I'd put him ahead of Porter.
okay,
But you know that the beauty's in the eye of the beholder. That's so
right. Now, I'm old. Remember, I'm 60 years old. So my early days of football. First off, I grew up in Jersey, so the only thing we got were Giants and Jets games. So I got a lot of NFC East. So I knew the Redskins, Cowboys, and Eagles rosters. Mark, I don't know if you collected football cards.
Not really. Not kinda, but not really.
The first football card, I got the card before I really knew him as a player. Chris Hamburger of the Redskins.
I remember it because of the name. You know,
Right.
That's really the reason I remember him. He's in the Hall of Fame, right?
No, Chris Hamburger? No. I'd be shocked if he was. Shocked. I never thought of him as a great player. Good player. Never thought of him as a great player. You know, now Matt Millen was double nickel. Frank LeMaster from the Eagles back in the day. I know he was double nickel. Okay. Enzo in our chat room is saying Leroy Jordan was 55 from the Cowboys back in the 60s and 70s. Okay. But that's what off the top of my head, that's what I got for football double nickel. So I'm sure there are plenty of others because there's got to be a good linebacker number 55 in just about every team's history.
Okay, Chris Hamburger is in the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
2011 class. Here's the irony, okay? Here's the irony with that. David, I know you don't know this, but I'll let you guess. Any idea what round of the draft he was taken in?
Was he one of those Brad Johnson picks drafted in a round that doesn't exist anymore?
By a long shot. He was.
Oh, really?
He was drafted in the 18th round.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right.
That's awesome to think
Exactly.
the draft's now 7.
Also, one of the Leroy Jordan was, he for the Cowboys. So, you know, Willie McGinnis is probably the one we may have missed.
Ooh, there you go. Yeah.
So there's your, you know, and all sports have some good ones. I mean, there's some good hoop ones. There's some good hockey ones. I mean, Ora Hershiser's an all-time great baseball player. So, and then a bunch of Hall of Famers in football that wore the number 55.
Wow. I didn't realize Hamburger was a Hall of Famer. My bad.
Not a problem. It's what we're here for. Well, I have a computer in front of me, David, to check these things. Miller and Moulton. 55 days away from the beginning of the National Football League season. 44 days away from week 0 as we walk down memory lane with the greatest 55s of all time on Miller and Moulton.
The Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move. From pricing your home to negotiating the best deal, I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and the best personal service. That's the difference.
This is Miller and Moulton.
He wore 55 in the NFL, RCB, at least for 6 years. but I don't put him on the list of all-time greats. So it's amazing how many guys wore multiple numbers. That's the one thing that I'm finding with this. He wore 53 and then he wore 55 at the end of it. He wore 53 in Tampa, 55 in Miami, for those that care. No, Michael, I don't. I'm 56 years old. Here's the one thing I know for certain. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. And I'm never going to wear a jersey. And if I were going to wear a jersey, I would never wear a soccer jersey. I'm not a soccer guy. And I'm not a front runner. So no on all accounts. It's so the opposite of me. Yes, we did, Mr. Spivey. I'd wear a Snoop jersey before I'd wear a Messi jersey.
I'd wear a Snoopy outfit.
Got a couple of fun texts.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Pat Kirwan will join us then to talk all things football. I'll mention the name Chris Hamburger. See what he has to say. Kyle Sielaff, an hour from now, voice of the Marlins. That's your playoff Miami Marlins team. Thank you very much. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X.
So the text line, the Pelican Roofing in Florida text line, probably a good group of folks to give a call to get your roof checked out because, it's starting to rain a lot here in Florida. And what's around the corner. Although I can assure you, because we bought a generator, that we have warded off hurricanes for quite a while. Because once we get all the money for a whole house generator, I'm guessing we won't have a major storm for a while. At least I hope so.
I was going to say the rest of the decade is definitely covered.
Right. Exactly. So the text line, when I mentioned that the Florida State fan not texting, they still didn't text. But a lot of people with the jersey numbers and a lot of people on some other items. But I did laugh at this, that the Gator fan, they don't want to take shots, but they can't help it. When they're given the 82 mile an hour straight pitch down the middle,
right,
they tend to swing. Like this fan who said, FSU fans aren't up this early. They don't have jobs.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, I love college football. Another texter said, when you made the Jets FSU over under, it should be FSU and the Dolphins. Let's at least keep it in state.
Okay.
But I would go Knowles there. I would go Knowles there. All right. We talked a little Knowles. We talked a little UCF, and I'm not knocking Miami here, but I'm going to go to the big boy. The Gator fans, chomping at the bit. We've had a few Gator fans texting us. And David, as I sit before me with the Gators schedule laid out on my leg in the Phil Steele book, where would you guess? Because I know you didn't get the magazine this year. I don't think you did.
Nope. I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done. 20 years college football. I'm done. I'm taking a year off.
Shows you where we stand on this show, everybody. Sorry, I couldn't help it. All right. Where would you guess Phil Steele picked the Gators to finish in the 74-team SEC?
It's officially 16, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Just having a little fun there.
No, I know. 10th.
Close. He has them 11th and tied for 11th with Vanderbilt and Missouri.
Of
That
course.
means that South Carolina, Auburn, Tennessee, and Ole Miss are all ahead of them. I'm not even including Georgia, Florida, or Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Oklahoma, A&M, LSU. But Auburn, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Ole Miss.
Well, I can understand Ole Miss for another year or so. I can definitely understand Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee's been better than Florida for a few years now.
I know, but that bothers to me.
Oh, no.
Fan, like the Georgia.
Yeah.
I know I want to get them, but I realize where I am right now.
No. There's no doubt it bothers them. But unfortunately for the Gators, and their fans know it, they may just not admit it and say it out loud, but Tennessee's better than them right now. However, South Carolina and Auburn, put it this way, Mark. If you were to pull a Gator fan aside and say, listen, Phil Steele is going to be 100% accurate on the SEC predictions this year, and that means that you're going to finish with a worse season than both South Carolina and Auburn, I think Gator fan would be like, are you serious?
Well, here's the thing. They play both of them. I mean, so you got the first two wins, Florida Atlantic and Campbell. And, until Florida State, it's all conference games now.
Right. 9 in a row.
So 9 straight conference games with one bye before the Georgia game. The first group of 5 at Auburn. That's what a test for both week 3. I mean, really and truly, that's a season setter for both teams.
Well, it's funny because I think if you talk to a lot of Auburn fans, the Florida coach was who they wanted to get their job. Boy, that's the other thing, Mark, is if you talk to each fan base, I think they would say, oh, we got to have that one.
Right. So, okay, the following week they host Ole Miss. Look at the Swamp, still tough to play at. I don't give a damn who you are.
Okay, here's the thing, though. That could be a big advantage for Florida. That's week 4 of the season, right?
Yes, it is.
I believe week 3, Ole Miss hosts LSU.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's obviously going to be a big letdown for Ole Miss playing the Gators. I mean, it could be the biggest letdown of their lives.
Especially if they get their ass kicked by LSU. Just saying. Then at Missouri, they're picked to tie with Missouri in conference. I mean, these are 3, and then South Carolina at home. By the way, I know it doesn't mean much to the average fan, but to alumni it does. That's homecoming.
And that'll be pointed out to the Gator players by the coaches. These guys think so much of you. We're their homecoming opponent.
So, and then they play at Texas, which they're going to probably lose. But those 4 games, at Auburn, home for Ole Miss, at Missouri, home for South Carolina, can you find a way to go 3-1 in that group?
Oh, definitely. In fact, won't you admit right now that all 4 of those games will be under 7 points for both teams? For both teams, even those that are favored over the Gators. And I don't know how many of them will be, but I don't think it'll be by 7 or more. So, I mean, if you're a 4-point dog at home, like, you don't think you can win that game?
Like, I think, I know what you're saying. I would say 5. The 5 points on. I don't like 7's a lot. I mean, if one of those is 7, I'd be surprised. I really would. Ole Miss and Florida, I would think it's 4 or 5. All right. So then they lose the Texas game. They got to bye. They played Georgia tough last year. I mean, that's a game that is. I don't know if it's winnable, and it's in Atlanta, so I don't know if that takes away from the usual Georgia-Florida game. But let's just say for sake of argument, they lose. They're hosting Oklahoma after that. That's a tough game after Georgia. It is. And they're going to be a dog at home. But then they finish at Kentucky, home for Vandy, at Florida State. So, I mean, if they can go 3-1 in the 4-game stretch we said early and win their final 3, that's an 8-win season.
Yeah, it is. However, not a whole lot of people, including Gator fans, are going to give them much of a chance in those other 4 games. Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma, and
Oh no, we just said 3-1 in that stretch of Auburn, Ole Miss, Missouri,
right.
South Carolina.
Well, that's 5-1, but then they begin the stretch of Texas, Georgia, Oklahoma.
That's 3 losses. I mean, that could be 3 losses in a row. Yes.
Right. And then their final 3 are
At Kentucky, Vandy, at Florida State.
okay. So going 3-1 in that key 4-game stretch, that would give them an 8-4 season.
Yeah. And if they pull off an upset somewhere,
Well, that's 6-0 playing Texas. I mean, that's the thing. You know, you want to get giddy if you're a Gator fan. Now, all of a sudden, I could see, by the way, you start that stretch off with Auburn, correct? Then Ole Miss.
Auburn,
I mean,
at Auburn, home for Ole Miss.
I mean, that
At
could
Missouri, home
snowball.
for South Carolina.
I mean, I think that could snowball in either direction. That's how important I think the Auburn game is.
I couldn't agree with you more, David. And that, I mean, that, you know, like we haven't really gotten into Florida. The roster's better. This guy's done everything right, but that doesn't matter. If you lose the Auburn game, oh boy.
To last year's South Florida coach and last year's South Florida quarterback who beat you last year in the swamp.
Right. But I know it's at Auburn, but somehow I just believe talent-wise, Florida has more talent right now, although I think it's close.
Boy, that could be a nooner too. You'll know what ESPN and the family of networks thinks about those 2 teams because the Gators draw. Okay. And most years, that game would be a night game. First of all, Auburn is a special place.
Yeah.
To host a game. So's the
You
Swamp.
might be onto something, by the way. Georgia plays Oklahoma that day.
Right. Well, that's the ESPN game.
Texas plays Tennessee.
Okay. That's 2. Trying to rank where you are on the
Alabama,
list.
South Carolina.
Well, it's Alabama, so that they're probably ahead of you.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the week before. So, no, I'm sorry. The week before. That's LSU and Ole Miss, the 19th. No, you're going to get good treatment. Alabama, Florida State, Georgia, Arkansas. No. That might be
ESPN 2 at 7:45.
Could be.
Or maybe even 7:30 because the marquee game might get the 3:30 slot.
Right. The marquee game, it's LSU at Ole Miss. That's going to be 3:30. So.
Tell you what. I so hope that game's at night. Really. Ed, the Swamp and Jordan Hare. Those are 2 at night, especially. Although they could play the Iron Bowl at 9 a.m. But those are 2 great places.
That's going to be at night. That might even be on ESPN at night, David.
Wow. Listen, if you're Auburn and Florida, you're hoping it is. Okay, that's like, all right, cool. Because if they pencil you in as the noon game, oh, damn.
No way. I mean, the only other Alabama's got a Florida State that day, so that one could get preferential treatment because, after all, it is Alabama. Worst case scenario, you're on the deuce, David.
Okay, I'll take that.
And for a lot of us, it doesn't matter. That's a primetime game that we're watching.
Right.
So
we broke the Gator season
bare minimum for the Gators.
So they got the weeks 3 through 6. Okay, that's the 4-game stretch where they got to win at least 3 of them.
Right.
Okay. Then they got the 4-week stretch with a bye, which is Texas, Georgia, Oklahoma, which we think they're going to go LLL.
Yes.
So that's the 3-week period in which you're like, boy, you steal one of them. Huh,
Now 9's a possibility.
right? Because now you're looking at the final 3 games and you're thinking that needs to be WWW.
But I just think that Auburn, the whole table is set at Auburn. You lose that game, you come back for Ole Miss, and you're going, who are we? And, who knows what happened. I mean, for Ole Miss, their whole season's the week before. It's winning at home.
Right. He's got 2 games on his schedule he's got to win. He's got LSU and Mississippi State. He can go 2-10. He wins those 2. They'll be like, what do you say? Give him a 1-year extension?
I'm getting text saying it's already scheduled 7 p.m. on ESPN. I've got to confirm that.
There we go. All right. Cool.
So there you go. There's a little Gator talk. One more texter, by the way, did pop in with a comment that said that guy got it wrong about the FSU grads. They're definitely up because I just got McDonald's from one.
Unbelievable.
Bam! I know these jokes. They come at me from Michigan fan saying I deliver my pizza to him as a state grad. Funny's funny. Funny's funny. So there you go. A little college football talk this hour. See how quickly we can move past this World Cup. A little bit of messy talk early in the show, and then we're on to football. We gave you all the big number 55s. We got Pat Kirwan coming up in less than 10 minutes to talk the National Football League. Kyle Sielaff will join us bottom of the 8 o'clock hour to talk the Marlins. And I am fascinated, David, by the next 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks in Major League Baseball. Because with the Red Sox guy yesterday, he's like, we should be sellers. But they're right there.
You just won 9 in a row. You had you all on the road, by the way. The last time you won 9 in a row on the road was 77. Can I remind you who was on those teams? Yaz, Lynn, Rice, Dwight Evans, Louis Tion, Fisk. Are you serious?
Rick Burleson?
I mean, come on. Jerry Remy.
Thank you. They love the Rem dog. Don't kid yourself. They don't ever forget him. No doubt about that. Miller and Moulton. We will switch gears from Saturday to Sunday on the other side. Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio's Moving the Chain, CBS Sports, the NFL Today Show. He's next on Miller and Moulton.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at @MarkMiller or me at @DavidMoulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move. From pricing your home to negotiating the best deal, I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and the best personal service. That's the difference.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Good morning, Pat.
Good morning, Mark. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Terrific. It's all good. Trying not to count down the days to the start of this, but I have a feeling my friend David will tell me exactly how many minutes I have till the opening kickoff.
Well, we do it every day. We've been going through the numbers. Today's 55.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing the best. We've been just taking a segment and doing the best number, whatever day it is, till the NFL season.
Yep. Well, soccer's just about over.
A good summer segment killer right there, Pat.
Yeah, I like to do little projects and talk about things I would never get the time for during the season. We spent a lot of time yesterday and the day before on the sophomore quarterbacks, if you will, the second-year guys. Shuck, Dart, Ward, Shador. I don't know. Jake likes Shuck a lot. Shuck a lot. How you doing, David?
I think I've got him muted. He never.
I'm okay, Pat.
Yeah.
Couple of bad pain days. Yesterday was really bad. This morning's not that great, but hanging in there.
Well, your enthusiasm when your voice is being projected onto the radio is pretty strong, especially if it's about nutty things like baseball.
Oh, come on, football scheduling. I always get excited about football scheduling.
Yes, you do.
You know me. I can overanalyze anybody's schedule. North Texas's schedule, I can overanalyze.
All right. Tell me when you look quickly at, when you get a chance, Carolina's schedule, and tell me what you think the record is.
Panthers?
Yeah.
Let's see. They won it last year at 8-9. Oh, boy.
I got a better one. Skip that one. Give me Tennessee's schedule. This was.
I've actually got it in front of me. And, David and I, because we just did this exercise a little bit yesterday, Pat, in which we said there are only 7 Major League Baseball teams that are out of it today. We're 90 games into the season. There are 7 teams that are done. We named 6 NFL teams that are done and the season hasn't started. And Tennessee was on the list. And David thinks they'll be. He argued with me about Tennessee. We didn't get to their schedule, but they do the NFC East. They do the AFC North. And by the way, their crossover on the other side's the Lions.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. I got asked the other day by a rare Tennessee fan, and my number, I said, the best I think you can be is 6-11.
Of course, that would be double the number of wins, wouldn't it?
Yes. And that's what my point to him in a positive sense was. Growth comes in a few years. Oh, you got to do it. No, they're ready. I said, they're ready for 6-11. I think Jake felt bad for the guy and said 7-10.
Well, they play the Jets. I mean, that's good news.
Yeah.
And they get them at home. But, I mean, who are they going to beat from the NFC East? Let's just start there.
Well, I went right down the schedule, and I said, okay, they're going to lose to Philly. I gave them a win with the Giants, which I don't even believe. I was trying to stretch out to 6.
Yeah, that's on the road, so I doubt it, but okay.
Cleveland. I'm looking for their wins.
Cleveland.
I gave them a Washington win, which I doubt. And I gave them an Indy and a Raider win. So that was 6-11.
Yeah, there you go. Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home in Jacksonville, Tampa, St. Pete. Final hour of the show, live Oak Lake City, Southwest Florida, Fort Myers, Naples, and Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, Venice, and the like. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Pat Kirwan joins us during the off season once a week on Thursdays. We're probably, 6 weeks away from Tuesdays and Fridays, but that's after Pat does his training camp tours. Right now, we're his training camp tour on Miller and Moulton. Good morning, Pat. How are you?
Good morning, fellas. Doing fine. It's quiet enough that you can get a little projects done about the team, get yourself ready for the camp tour stuff, and kind of zero in on some players. We did a little something on the second-year quarterbacks, and it was interesting because there's 4 of them that are going to start. Milroe's not going to do anything, and Dylan Gabriel won't. Shador might, but the other 3, I asked the question of Shuck, Dart, and Ward, who's going to win the most games, and I picked Jackson Dart, and Jake picked Shuck. He thinks things are going to go well for him, and they will. I'm not down on him, but I just think there's something to Dart. But I did say this when I went through this thing, and it ties to what John Gruden said yesterday about the game is dissolving, not evolving, and he talked about the quarterbacks. And so when you looked at these guys, when we were doing the sophomore quarterbacks, the sack ratios are awful. 1 every 11, 1 every 10, 1 every 10, 1 every 10, 1 every 10. That's who they are. But then John said, which he's right, if you can't go up and recognize the defense and recognize the front, you're going to get sacked. You're going to look like you're lost. And as good as I think some of these kids are going to be, that sack ratio just is glaring. Shuck had the best at 1 every 11, and I'm just rounding them up. But the other guys were all 1 every 10. You got to get to 1 every 15 to 20 this year, or otherwise they're going to start thinking differently about you. So we'll see where it goes. But those are the kind of things we're talking about all the time. I took in really exception to people that was zinging Mike McDonald about his quote-unquote conflict of interest. I got really mad about that because they don't even know the guy. I have interviewed him 51 times. And this guy is so open and honest. When he makes a comment like, yeah, well, we talked to someone before the Super Bowl, and I didn't want to bring his name up because of conflict. He's got a sense of humor. That guy makes me laugh 45 of the 51 interviews. But so those are the little arguments we're having here and there on the radio.
All right. I'm glad you got to what the sack ratio should be, because that was going to be my next question. You answered it, 15 to 20. That's the number. My next question is, as you were going through that, and John said, okay, if you're at the line of scrimmage and you don't know what's coming, you're going to get sacked. Is there a reason why he thinks that is? Is that what's the offense is being run in college? What? Because I'm of the opinion, and I'm just a dumb fan, Pat. I'm of the opinion the quarterback position's never been more skilled, that we're training these quarterbacks at much younger ages. They're going to these Elite 11 camps in high school. So why is it the jump is still so difficult when they get to the National Football League, Pat?
I think what we've done is a very good job of cleaning up and improving and really excelling their mechanical skills. I was at a high school jamboree thing last night with some of the best teams around, the number 1 team in the state of Jersey, the number 1 team down in Delaware, a great team from Philadelphia was there. And all those kids can throw the ball. They can really throw it. But when they get to the NFL level, now they got to start calling plays, which they don't have to do in college. All they have to be able to do in college is look at the sideline and then learn how to clap their hands to get the snap. That's it. and then run around and try to make a play. So I think John's point is the FBI, football intelligence part, is what's missing. And it's always been an issue for young guys, but I think it's even more of an issue now because of the way the college game is played. And I think John was all over it. And then it happened to coincide with us doing this little work on the second-year quarterbacks, and what surfaced right away? Number one consistent issue for all these guys was sack ratio. And it's right where John was talking. So I do think, Mark, it is the game they play in college is not the game they play in pro football. And I watched 4 of the best teams in the Northeast, and you want to know what they were? They were all in 11 personnel, shotgun spread, every one of them.
Yeah,
that's all they see.
But Pat, there's 1/4 of the NFL teams in which none of their quarterbacks take a snap under center either. It's part of the reason why goal line and extreme short yardage teams may not be as good at it as they used to be, because it's much harder to be successful running those plays out of shotgun.
Yeah, and they also, in college, they don't see many coverages. They see the same stuff over and over again. What are you going to do when they're 3-by-1 set or 2-by-2 spread out all over the field? They're going to land up, and they get coverages checked to 2 or 3 things, so the kids don't see anything. And wait till you see now. Brian Flores is a great example. He is not going to let a young quarterback sit there and have a good time. And they're going to see so many blitzes and so many things that they don't recognize. And that's why this stuff happens. But it's just interesting time of year to talk about stuff like that. You know, and then tell me what's more important, David. You're the GM. Is it more important to win early or to build a team that's going to win for a while? And I'll give you examples. Do you play Watson or Sanders? Do you play Brissett or Beck? Do you play even Dart or Jameis? Penix or Tua? Cousins or Mendoza? Kyler or McCarthy? Purdy or Mac? Those teams got to think about these things. But I have a feeling with your GM mind, you're going to say build for the future and take your lumps now with the young guy.
Well, yeah, and both of us think that way. And I don't mean you and I mean Miller and Moulton. We both think, like, we loved the Cousins signing. Loved it, because it's like, don't throw Mendoza out there to
Right.
A, get beat up, but also B, when he and the team are both not ready. At least Cousins will know that they're not ready, and he'll get rid of the ball very quickly.
And he'll see what it's all about. And I'm with you on that. So when you guys say you've already put a couple of teams to sleep, why would you play Brissett in Arizona?
Only if Beck's not ready. But this would be one, Pat, that I'm looking at. I don't have Arizona's schedule in front of me. When's their bye week? You know, is it week? You know, by week 8, am I ready to put him in? Is he proved enough in the film room to me that I don't look like a fool? Because Pat, I think the other side of this is when you do that, if you start with him, aren't you sending a message to the other 52 that this year's gone? And I don't know if you can get away with that anymore.
Then why are we going to play Shador over Watson? I mean, these are the conflicts that one leads to another. And so you start asking yourself, what's the most important thing to do? Commit to the veterans on the team, and we're here to win games now, which I kind of like that one. Or are we here to build out the future? And if Mark's point, you want to do it at halfway through at the bye, I'm fine with that. But
Well, I looked it up while you guys were chatting. Arizona has the latest bye you can have. Their bye is the second weekend of December. So the likelihood is, if you think your future is Beck, even if you start Brissett, probably somewhere Columbus Day, Halloween, that's probably when you're just saying, okay, it's Beck's turn, when you're probably 1-6.
yeah. And these conflicts are Kyler Murray or J.J. McCarthy thinking about developing your program.
Well,
I've got to start Kyler Murray because I don't think J.J. can play.
Me either.
I mean, this was a team that was over 500 last year. They weren't a last place team. Detroit was, by however that worked out. So if I'm Minnesota, first off, if Pat, I don't know if you think I'm wrong here. If Kyler Murray is 16th in the league as a quarterback this year, that could be a playoff team with those receivers in that team, right?
I agree. And then how long, this is right up David's alley, how long do you wait to go to Kyler Murray and offer him a deal?
Well, I think you can wait a long time. Okay, I really do. First off, durability has been a question. So I'm not sure he's making it through the year anyway. Wouldn't shock me if he plays 10 games and Wentz plays the other 7. So I'm not thinking 2027 at the quarterback position. I'm going to have a hard enough time getting through 2026.
I hear you, but the GM got fired for not keeping Darnold around.
I understand that.
Darnold made my top 10 quarterbacks this year.
Well, it's tough not to have him pretty close to that, if not at the bottom end of the top 10. Talking NFL with Pat Kirwan. NFL Radio's moving the chains weekdays 3 to 6. And in a couple months, I'll head to New York to help out on CBS's NFL Today show. But I love all this quarterback talk, but just quickly on Minnesota.
Yeah.
And Mark knows I feel this way, and I don't think he is far off this opinion. Like, I think we're now finding out that the head coach wanted no part of the Michigan quarterback, and he lost the power struggle, and that's why the GM got fired. Also, the receivers clearly want no part of J.J. McCarthy. Clearly. They've been public about it ever since they signed the 2 veterans. So I think J.J.'s done in Minnesota, to be quite honest with you. I don't think he has a chance unless the top 2 guys in front of him get hurt.
I'm in full agreement with you. And would you trade him?
He's got no value.
There's someone out there that's going to like him. These guys graded that guy. Many of them graded him as a first rounder, and that wasn't that long ago. And there's a nice history of guys reinventing themselves. I wonder, I wouldn't care what I could get. Let's say I got a 4th for him or 3rd. Why wouldn't I do it?
I'd do it.
I would if I'm going to get a day 2 draft pick for a guy that I have no intention of ever playing again. Gone. See ya.
Yeah, and don't wait till it festers now, because the second Kyler gets hurt, if they put Wentz in the game, the value went down to a 7th.
100%. I don't think you're wrong, Pat. And those people that made him a first-round pick, I question their football knowledge. The guy didn't even throw it in college. He handed it off all the time. They didn't trust him to make throws. We just got done talking about how different the college game is, the pro game is, and what the coverages are. He couldn't make throws on Saturday. He's Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio's moving the chain, CBS Sports, the NFL Today show. More with Pat on the other side. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe. and
The
sound.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Pat, I know the answer is probably no, because he's pretty big time. Would there be any way you could put in a word for Mr. Gruden? I would love to get him on this show once.
I'll talk to John.
We're on in Tampa now.
Yeah. I'll call John this morning about that.
Well, the other thing is he's up before us.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to talk football with him. I could talk to him about it. I mean, the John Daly story with him is one of the best stories I've ever heard.
Well, he's got a lot going on now, and I think he's obviously going to be doing games, and he's getting out in the public a little more than he was before.
Yeah.
And, there's still the lawsuit thing. So I'll just call John and ask him to do it. And I'll tell him.
I could give a damn about the lawsuit. We would never bring it up. No interest to us.
Yep.
Except that we're rooting for him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you can't have it both ways. You can either have John or Roger. Which one do you want?
John.
You can't have them both.
John, and it ain't close. It ain't close to me.
Raj ain't going to give a squat.
That's right. John, you can get him a little feisty mad.
I was going to say he wakes up at 3:17 in the morning. We could tape it before the show and just let him rip for an hour, and we'll just run it from 8 to 9 one day.
Well, there's been times when I needed to get in touch with John, and I called him at 4 a.m. on the assumption he was up working, and it's so great when he doesn't answer. John, Pat, when you wake up, would you give me a call? Sorry, I'm up by myself. I was up, man. Hey, tell me about this. This is off the Bills radio now invading all these areas. How does it relate to you guys with 3 teams in the state? It doesn't seem like you're not the flagship for any team.
Well, but the Bills, they landed in West Palm, which I've always been impressed. In this market in Southwest Florida, like where David is, they're just doing the Jags. Here we get Dolphins and Bucks, but I don't know. I think the Bucks are the second most popular team in Southwest Florida, but you could argue, to me, you could have put especially one of the Spanish stations. I wouldn't be opposed to putting the Cowboys Spanish broadcast on it. I think you could make money doing it.
Yeah, well, I think the same thing of the West Coast of Florida and all the Wisconsin Packer fans.
Yes. I don't know who's more popular, the Packers or the Bucks in Southwest Florida. I'm not kidding.
But with all the guys I play golf with and stuff, if you just had a NFC North station and just talked about those 4 teams, you'd have a massive audience.
No doubt. No doubt, Pat. That's why we've always tried, now we're on in more markets, but that's why we've always done a more national show, because we're on, that's always been our thing. We're never going to out Tampa. DAE's got the Rays and the Bucks and the Lightning covered, although I would say we can do the Lightning as well as anybody. But, they've got that covered. Doesn't mean we don't cover it, but we're not going to out Rays and Bucks them. But the guy in Tampa who's not from Tampa, which is a lot of people, we can be their guy.
I-75, they just drove straight down from the Midwest.
Right, they did for years.
I always wondered about that.
Pat, this is 25 years ago, and Florida State was still Florida State, and I was in charge of what games we ran on the NBC and ABC affiliate in Southwest Florida. And during Ohio State's undefeated season, I ran Ohio State instead of Florida State and caught a little bit of grief. But I had the research to back up that there were actually more Ohio State fans in Southwest Florida than Florida State.
Just from where I live, I play with guys that still play with a Ohio State golf bag.
Yeah.
Oh,
listen,
yeah.
and wear red clothes every time they play.
At the time, and Mark knows this because he was trying to get him to go to Blades games, the Ohio State fan club in Naples was the second biggest Buckeye fan club in the country, behind only Columbus. It was bigger than Cleveland. That's how big it was.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes after the hour, our remaining moments with Pat Kirwan of SiriusXM's NFL Radio. Moving the Chains is the show from 3 to 6 Eastern. And he also is, well, the backbone of CBS's NFL Today show, Behind the Scenes. Kyle Sielaff, the voice of the Marlins, will join us in 15 minutes' time.
All right, Pat, before we got started, I told you that David and I yesterday were talking a little baseball. There's 7 teams. I know you don't care about baseball, but there are 7 teams right now that are out of it in baseball. We're 90 games in. We're over halfway through the season. We then went through the NFL, and we ruled 6 teams out of the NFL season before it began. The Dolphins, the Jets, the Browns, the Titans, the Raiders, and the Cardinals. First off, are we off? And secondly, are we missing anybody?
I don't think you're off. I think those teams, I would not bet 50 cents that they were going to make the playoffs. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one. And then you're looking for a gray area team that might be on that list that we don't have on the list. I think that's where we had all learned a lesson a while ago, that when 5 and 6 teams make the playoffs that were not in the year before, we can't see it coming sometimes. And maybe that last year was a good example of we couldn't see it coming. And the NFC South, which is always problematic in trying to figure it out, but Carolina won that thing with a losing record. So I don't think you've missed anyone that I would put on it's July and it's already over. I think you hit the nail on the head.
I do think, though, that the biggest chance for a big turnaround comes from the NFC East and the NFC South, because in those 2 divisions, there was only one team with a winning record, the Eagles. So, if the Cowboys, Giants, or Commanders do anything, if anybody in the NFC South does anything, I mean, that to me is where you have a chance for your biggest surprise. Some would make the case the AFC North, because both the Ravens and the Bengals didn't do anything last year, and nobody believes in the Steelers outside of Pittsburgh. So there's a lot of flux. They may not be out of it, but there's a lot of flux, Pat, in the league.
Yeah, I think it's the ultimate dream that they had when they put the CBA together for the football part of it. Obviously, the worth of the clubs is what really excites the owners. And we went back and looked at that. The growth is absurd. But I'm with you on this subject, because I think, and I tried to say this to a caller yesterday, and he just didn't want to hear it. It takes time to build a team. And every so often, some team flashes like New England did, right? Down in the dumps, and then boom, up there in 14 wins. So, but they think that's how it usually is. That's not how it usually is. So I do think the teams you cited are not going anywhere for another year. And some of them, I think the Jets might have a chance to surprise us with maybe 2 or 3 extra wins than they had last year. I don't think Carolina's going to win the division. I don't think a losing record is going to win the division either.
All right, let me just ask you a quick question when it comes to the Jets. Who's their starting quarterback going to be week 1, Pat? I mean,
Gino. I think Gino's.
Okay. All right.
Now, I said this on the air, so I'll say it again here. When given the opportunity to go get a quarterback, which is what their task was, I would have gone for Cousins over Gino. And I think Gino got shell-shocked last year. That line was so bad, and he got destroyed. But I just felt like Cousins, after spending a few weeks with him last year, the guy there's something to him. And he tried to play injured the year before. And we all saw it. We all knew he couldn't throw. And then They finally took him out, which they admitted they waited too long. But he was healthy at the end last year. He made a lot of guys look a lot. That tight end made money because of Kirk Cousins.
Well, it is interesting. In the games that he's been healthy, the last 2 years in Atlanta, he's 10-4.
Thank you.
Okay. And yet, okay, granted, there was cap savings and what have you, but we didn't understand why they were in such a hurry to get rid of him. And they were in a hurry to get rid of him for Tua? I mean, you say whatever you want. Cousins is more durable. I mean, that's a good place to start. The last 2 years, even with him not playing up to his normal standard, he was better than Tua. I mean, it is an interesting quarterback choice to choose Tua over Cousins.
Well, there was cap issues there, and Cousins agreed to modify his deal, which helped them with cap space. And then they got Tua for free, basically $1 million. What did they tell you, really? They're obsessed with, and I get this, putting Penix on the field and saying he's the star. And that's going to be a problem because we'll see if he is, if he can stay healthy. Did he stay healthy in college, David?
Missed 2 full seasons because of major injuries.
Yeah. So you got that issue. So look, Cousins would have stayed in Atlanta if they wanted to keep him. But they needed a backup. So Tua was a freebie. And I've talked to some people there that they're not excited by Tua, but Tua could beat out Penix. What if Tua has to start early and he's winning?
Right.
What are you going to do then?
Well, because also the current people, Mark, who brought Tua in, didn't bring in Penix.
Exactly. Exactly. And Penix also. I mean, here's 2 guys that have been injured a ton before they ever got to the NFL. Penix had his share of injuries throughout college. So
I think Tua and Kyler Murray learned a really good lesson from Daniel Jones, who could have stayed in Minnesota, but said, I'm going to Indianapolis because I can beat that guy out in a week. And he did. But I think Tua and Kyler Murray think that they can both win the job in Atlanta and Minnesota and get a deal.
All right. I'm going to stay in that division. I'm going to ask you a question I can't believe I'm asking you, but I still think the answer is not a for sure. Both these teams went 6-11 last year. Who's got a better shot to win their division? The Kansas City Chiefs or the New Orleans Saints?
The New Orleans Saints.
Uh-huh.
And
I want everybody to hear what he did. The New Orleans Saints.
Yeah. The situation is attainable for starters, right?
Right.
The top is reachable. That's the first thing. The second thing is about Kansas City. And we've talked a lot about these guys since the end of the season. They lost their secondary. They have not repaired their offensive tackles to my satisfaction. They really haven't replaced Joe Tooney at guard. So those are a couple of problems. The quarterback is not healthy yet. His number one target is a tight end who's old and married. I'll give you $1 if you can guess who that is. And the receiver room is horrible. That's a lot of problems.
I didn't realize that getting married was such a big problem.
Well, when I said old, I felt it wasn't enough. I had to give you an extra hint.
Pat's just bitter. Pat's just bitter. He's close to MSG and he didn't get an invite.
I crashed anyway. No.
My biggest problem out of everything you mentioned was they're paying Kelsey $12 million. He'll be 37 in October. His yards per catch the last 2 years have been below 10. Okay, I mean, $12 million? I'm sorry. Travis, you want to keep playing? You want to stay in Kansas City? 5. Well, how about 5 with a bunch of bonuses? $12 million, fully guaranteed? In the red zone, he's worth it. In between the 20s, he ain't worth more than 3.
Okay. That was your top was 12 and the bottom was 3. So can we split the difference? I got to get over 5.
There you go. That's 7.5. Then's the difference.
They boxed themselves in here. The irony of that they got rid of Tyreek and won the Super Bowl has caused them to think they can move guys off. You start looking at that roster from just a couple years ago, you realize there's a lot missing. Who's the pass rusher?
He's Pat Kirwan, NFL Today Show, CBS, and Sirius moving the chains on Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real. The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I thought he would say that. I was fired up when I thought of that question just because I thought it was a fun question. And Enzo, you're probably right on the Giants, but I'm not counting them out. They've got a quarterback. They've got a couple of players. You know, Washington, you probably could count them out. But before the season starts, I'm not counting them out. That's all. You're probably right. They were a double-digit loss team from a year ago. The odds are you're going to be right. I mean, the one team, like David's Tennessee thing, mine the one, and I think they're going to be bad defensively, but I just wonder in that division with all of the turmoil, how's Cleveland going to be this year? Do they have a shot to not be in last place? I do think that defense takes a couple of steps back, though, without Schwartz there. I think people have no idea what that's going to do to that defense.
That's why I think Tennessee is going to be much improved. Okay, first off, Dable as an offensive coordinator, I think is a great hire. And the guy he really wanted out of last year's draft was the guy in Tennessee, more so than who he had to scramble and get for the Giants, Jackson Dart. But I think Saleh is an even better hire for their defense.
Thank you, Steve. I've not seen you comment before, so anytime we get a new commenter, that makes me feel good. Not that I don't like the rest of you. Don't get all pissy. I had an easy one to take a shot at Paula, and I just said no. I just said no. By the way, the wife did not. She said she wished I wouldn't have put that comment on the team app for the soccer team, but she didn't yell at me. The person defended their fundraising when they said they're just standing out there and people are generous, like, because we're begging. But she didn't attack. She probably doesn't like me, but that's okay. I don't care. And I didn't get any positive feedback on the side from any of the parents yet.
You thinking they may pull you aside?
Oh, yeah.
And go, I totally agree with you. I just didn't want to post it on the.
I'm going to get, thank you. I'm going to get a little way to go. Because one, they couldn't handle their wives coming at them if they did it. I don't care when it comes to this stuff. I will win argument. I don't win much against my wife, and by much, any. But when it comes to sports stuff that's non-gymnastics, I think I'm going to win. Gymnastics, I don't go there. I'm with you, Dad. What happened to doing something? Oh, wow, Red Dog. I think Cleveland's competing with Pittsburgh, and I know you're a Pittsburgh guy, and I'm a season ticket holder. I don't want that to happen. The Steelers are old. They have nothing on offense. I explain to me how they're going to be any good. Hope I'm wrong. I need to sell tickets, but I think this is the first year we're going to struggle to get our money back.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes at the top of the hour. We're going to hook up with Kyle Sielaff in the next couple of minutes. Marlins in Milwaukee to start things up post All-Star break. Rays start things up in Boston against the red-hot Red Sox with a double header tomorrow. Okay? Making a game up along the way. A double header Friday in Boston. Red Sox, before the break, had won 9 in a row. We'll give you an Open Championship update. Right now, your leader on the course is Alex Smalley. He's an American. He's 5 under with 3 holes to play. One of those 3 holes, a par 5. This is an interesting course, isn't it, Mark? You play 14 holes before you play a par 5. I mean, that's very interesting in and of itself. And then 2 of the last 4 are par 5s. But Smalley at 5 under. Couple of golfers in the clubhouse at 4 under. Daniel Brown from England and Sung Jae Im, both 4 under in the clubhouse. There's 7 golfers at 3 under, including Robert McIntyre and 43-year-old Francisco Molinari, a former Open champion. Scheffler and DeChambeau, both on the back 9, both 3 under par. How about 50-year-old Henrik Stenson? Shot a 2 under 68. He's in the clubhouse. So Rory tees off, by the way, in an hour and a half. 10:15 Eastern is when Rory tees off. We mentioned the Marlins start the post-All-Star break in Milwaukee. Couple of playoff teams. Kyle Sielaff, how good has that felt over these last 4 days and knowing full well that probably in your open, but certainly in the first inning, you're going to turn to Tommy Hutton and make sure that he and the world knows that the Marlins are a playoff team in mid-July. Thank you very much.
It's great to see you guys, and it's been a lot of fun. It really has. I just think they're such a young group of kids, and they're just so darn fun to root for, honestly. And they're playing well. I mean, they've been the best team in baseball since June 1st. You know, we've said it a couple of times. If you play this well for this long, it's not a fluke anymore. You're either good or you're not. Like, you're not fooling anybody at this point. So they are 7 over. They limped into the break a little bit. I think it came at a good time because those things can spiral a little bit this time of year. But you lose 3 in a row. You get to the break. Otto and Max go to the All-Star game. And we will head up to Milwaukee later this afternoon and see if the boys can keep it rolling. They had a very hard strength of schedule to start the year. And I don't know how this works, but it's the 4th or 5th toughest the rest of the way, so it's not going to get any easier.
No, and I was looking at everything between now and the deadline. It ain't easy, as you mentioned. The Brewers, the Astros who have picked it up, the Padres who are a little bit reeling, and the Phillies and the Mets before the trade deadline. You know, before June, I'm like, well, I think we know what's going to happen come August 3rd. Alcantara's not going to be with the Fish anymore. Now, to me, the next 2 weeks determine not just the Marlins, but so many teams. Because we looked at the standings. There are basically 7 teams that are out in baseball. Everybody else is in this sucker. So we could have good old-fashioned horse trades, Kyle, where, you know, a player's traded for another good player. Your weakness for, or your strength for their weakness and vice versa. So when you look at this team, if they were to make a move to get better, is there a spot that you see between now and August 3rd that they've got to improve if they are going to be a wild card team?
Yeah, I think they could use a right-handed hitting third baseman. Third base has been one of the worst positions in baseball for the Marlins. But I mentioned baseball because I think if you look, it's been the least productive position in baseball per team, per position. You know, look, we say this a lot. There's never a place you can't always get better. There's obvious places they're not going to go look for, right? But if something were to present itself, I don't think you say no, that's for sure. Could you use another reliever? You know, they've lost Anthony Bender. Hopefully he comes back soon. Could you use a starting pitcher? You can never have enough pitching. You never know what's going to happen. The oddity in all this is that when the Marlins went on this tremendous run, they did it with 2 starting pitchers beginning in June. I mean, that's bizarre. That shouldn't happen that way, right? A couple of things, though. You mentioned Sandy's name. I grow more and more confident in everything I read that he's not going anywhere. I really do. And, you know, the other thing that you hit on, which I caution people, because there is 2 weeks and change until the deadline. 2 weeks and 4 days or something? I forget when it is, August 3rd. There's a lot that could happen. Just because you want to buy today doesn't mean you're going to buy in 2.5 weeks. If you play really, really well, you know, obviously you're going to go for it within reason. And I don't think the Marlins will mortgage their future at this deadline. I don't think that would be a prudent decision, because I think now the last couple of years they've played really good baseball, and you can kind of see that vision. But a lot can happen, guys. A lot can happen these next couple of weeks. You know, I know we say that about Sandy, and I'm not being pessimistic. I'm just saying anything can happen these next 2.5 weeks that sways decision making. But that's one guy, obviously, many of us feel good about staying.
See, and Kyle, I think, and I don't know if the GM's thrilled about this or not. I know the owner, every time he talks publicly, he is thrilled. But I think the team and Sandy have put the GM in a position where he can't sell. Because let's just say the next, 16 games, they go 7-9. And they're like a 500 team in July after being the best team in baseball in June. Well, in the National League, they're probably still going to be right there, tied for the final playoff spot, at worst, like 2 games back. I mean, you can't sell if you're, if that's where you are in the standings. And quite frankly, with the team he's got, I mean, we said it, and I don't know if you agree with this, a week ago, outside of the Dodgers, okay, any other team in the National League, they really want to see the Marlins in a first-round best-of-3 or in a division series, a best-of-5? I mean, seriously. I mean, that's a pain-in-the-butt ball club to get out of a short series against.
Well, I agree with you, and let's not quickly forget that the Marlins should have swept the Dodgers a couple of months ago at Chavez Ravine. Now, I'm not suggesting that that's what would happen in the postseason if those two teams lined up. That's a different beast. I totally understand that. The Dodgers will go try to get better. And I think you make a very interesting point, David, in that if they just hover around 500 from now until the end of the year, like there's a very good chance that last day means something, which is why I don't think they're just going to go sell. Do I think they will aggressively add and subtract from their minor league system? I do not, because they have some very good young guys in the minor leagues. The depth is about as good as it's ever been, but it's not there yet. So if you start to get rid of some of these young guys, then you really don't have the depth in case injuries start to persist. I still think they're a year or two away from being able to dish out guys from the minor leagues to get better at the major leagues. But that's okay, because, again, they could play 500 baseball the rest of the way with a top 5 hardest remaining schedule in baseball. And, like, game 162 will mean something. So I do think Peter will look for ways to get better at the deadline. These guys deserve that. They deserve the opportunity to continue to try to go for this, whatever that means to some. And to your last point about teams not wanting to face the Marlins, and we'll just use the Dodgers for an example, because I don't think it's like off kilter to say, look, if for some reason the Marlins and the Dodgers lined up in the wild card in Los Angeles, you think the Dodgers are going to be comfortable going against Alcantara, Perez, and Meyer? No, that just scares you, because those short series, like, you're one really good pitching performance away from being like, oh my God, we're on the verge of elimination. Again, that we can kick that can down the road a little bit, but the greater point is these guys pitch so well and the bullpen has been so good. They are in every game, and they don't let losing streaks linger for that long, which has been super encouraging.
I'm going to make you put on a hat that you don't have to put on, but you do because you're a broadcaster. And I was a play-by-play guy, and we all did it. Marketing. Despite how well this team's playing, people aren't coming. And I've always been of the opinion with Miami teams, and Miami is we all know how unique Miami is, that you need a star. And I think there are stars on the pitching staff. Otto Lopez is having a spectacular season. He may be a budding star. I don't know if he's a guy that fans get excited to go to the ballpark and see every day. Who's the guy? Is there someone in the system? Is there someone out there that you're like, man, in a year, we've got our Ellie De La Cruz. You know, we've got a guy that you want to come to the ballpark to watch go to the plate 4 times every game. Is there one coming there? Because I contest that unless the Marlins have one, it's always going to be difficult to draw fans. And that's a little bit from the outside, but having followed Miami sports now for over 20 years, I think it's a safe statement.
Yeah, it's a good question, Mark. And, you know, it's kind of interesting you bring that up, because if you think about it, at least in my opinion, I've been with the Marlins since 2013. The last guy that legitimately put fans in seats was Jose Fernandez. The organization over its tenure, I mean, you really have to go back to the Miguel Cabreras of the world, you know, and Stanton. I should think about Stanton too, but it's been predominantly pitching. Which
right.
The difficulty there is it's once every 5 days.
Right.
And this is not exactly a team, as you alluded to, that is full of stars. You know, will people buy a ticket to go watch Joe Mack, even though he has been a huge difference? I don't know. Like, I don't know the answer to that. I do think what they will support is a winner. And I will say this, and this does not excuse a lack of attendance. I was very, very encouraged during the Mariners series, which was a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, a week and a half ago, coming off that 10-game, 10-day road trip. There was, I'm not saying there was a lot of people in the ballpark. There was more than we anticipated, and there was juice. There was energy. People stood up, right, in moments like, you know, in the big baseball markets when fans will come to their feet for certain things. I thought that was encouraging, and I only say that because it was the first time this year I felt like, not that the community was supporting the team, but they were like, ooh, man, you know, I think it's time to kind of look into this a little bit. So
those moments are contagious, though. I mean, that's what people talk about. When there's juice, that's contagious. You can feel
Correct.
feel that in a stadium.
That was the first time this season I felt that, not on like a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday where there was marketing promotions and there was 15, 20,000 people there. So I hope that continues. Now, but back to your other question, I don't know if there's that guy coming. Guys, that's so hard to do. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, obviously you have your Otanis and your Sotos and your Harpers, and you see a lot of that in this division with the Acuñas. Is that guy coming? I mean, the Braves didn't think they didn't know what Ronald Acuna Jr. was when he was younger. I mean, I think there's some really good young players. Maybe the Marlins run into something like that, but I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know if that guy is coming. I love the pitching. I mean, we love the pitching. That's fun to watch. But again, that's once every 5 days.
Well, this could be 2003 all over again in this sense. In 2003, they started showing up in May when Dontrell pitched. But by late July, early August, when they realized the team is winning, then they started showing up 2 days a week, 3 days a week. And by the end, we know what happened. I don't know if they're that good, and they're certainly younger than that team was. But, you know, from a juice standpoint, from people showing up, okay, I hope that the rest of this year is kind of like 03, where, you know, hey, they're a winner. They're a playoff team, for goodness sakes. We should go support them. How about if I said that the thing that Peter Bendix needs to root for the most over the next 17 days is that Fairbanks pitches to his capabilities so that they can trade him and shed the salary, which would then allow them to afford the third baseman they need to get.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. You know, there's no sugarcoating a guy that has 13 saves. He's pitching to a 6.83 ERA. I mean, this will sound crazy, and I probably see this with my blue and red goggles or whatever colors you want to put them on. Like, I've still felt decent about the guy when he comes in because, like, you just know it's in there. And obviously it hasn't gone the way that they would have liked. And, you know, recently he's allowed a run, I think, in like 5 of his last 6 outings or something, or, you know, 5 of his last 7. You know, the interesting thing, guys, it probably opens up in another can of worms. With the collective bargaining agreement expiring, many believe that teams are going to have to absorb money. You know, do you call on a Matt Chapman with the Giants and try to take on that salary, knowing you're going to have to take some on next year? Does this lend its hand to some extensions? You think about a guy like Otto. Would he take a 5-year, $50 million deal, which is generational, life-changing money? And, you know, would you try to extend Joe Mack or, you know, guy like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking about what you're saying, David, with trading Fairbanks. I don't know. It's $13 million. I don't know what you get back, and I still believe that there's a guy in there in the final 50 games that could, like, has that heartbeat that slows down. I know he's giving up runs. Like, you can't sugarcoat that. I don't know if they would do that, but I'm following your line of thinking.
Kyle Sielaff, he's the television voice of the Miami Marlins. Marlins back in action tomorrow, a 3-game series in Milwaukee.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move. From pricing your home to negotiating the best deal, I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and the best personal service. That's the difference.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
That's a segment I didn't think we'd be doing in April. A deep dive into Marlins baseball in mid-July. Better chance of the Saints winning the division. And I even had to text Kyle Sielaff a question about the Marlins that I wouldn't ask on air because it was far too inside baseball for the show. Because, yes, I did text him and ask him if Connor Norby's going to get called back up. Followed him. He played at ECU. By the way, David, did you you're not on social at all. Are you aware of what's going on with Bruce Banco?
No.
He's got a GoFundMe. He had no insurance. He's got oh crap. I saw it yesterday on something, and then I started digging. He needs a heart valve, or basically he's going to die. He needs a heart transplant or this heart valve. His heart's pumping out like 15%, and it should be a minimum of like 55. So he's not doing well at all.
He's in Tampa, isn't he?
That one I couldn't tell you. I think so, David, but I'm not positive. Nothing like my Matthew Jordan pick. 7 over today. Nice round, buddy. Gary Woodland 8 over. Justin Rose 6 over through 15. Who saw that coming? David's guy, Joaquin Neiman, 3 over through 6. Hideki 3 over. Potty doubled his first hole.
So I entered a pool where you got to pick a threesome, and all three guys have to make the cut. It doesn't matter if two of the guys finish first and second. If the third guy misses the cut, you're out.
Right.
And I stayed away from Scheffler and Rory. I went with Hatton, Schauffele, and Morikawa. Hatton's 2 under through 7. I don't know, but the other guys have even teed off yet.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour, the pro hour, the final hour, whatever you want to think of it as. With Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Alex Smalley, he's an American. He's got 2 holes to play. He's currently 5 under. One of the 2 holes is a par 5. There's only 2 on this whole course. So he's the leader. There's a couple guys, Daniel Brown of England and Sungjae Im of South Korea. They're in the clubhouse with a 4 under 66. There's 3 guys in the clubhouse at 3 under, including Robert McIntyre, Scotty Scheffler, Bryson DeChambeau, both 3 under on the course. They're midway through the back 9. They're both approaching the par 5s, so maybe they can make some headway. Molinari's 43 years of age. He's one of those at 3 under. But we talked about this leading into the tournament. Because of the courses, don't have to be as long. You don't have to hit driver most of the time if you want. 50-year-old Hendrik Stenson is part of a big group at 2 under par, technically tied for 12th. But there you have it. Your guy, Terrell Hatton, 2 under through 7, Mark. Rahm, 2 under on the back 9. So most of the names so far seem to be doing okay.
Yes, they are, with the exception of maybe one, Justin Rose, having a rough day. But I will say, full disclosure, I gave you the stat. Matthew Jordan has played in the last 3 of these. He's finished in the top 10 in 2 of them.
Right?
Thought it was a good top 10 pick. Good money, good odds. That ain't going to happen. He shot 77 today.
Oh, that's a problem.
Although we also told you about Hung-Toon Lee, right? The Chinese golfer there. He's off to a great start.
Hey, he's 2 under through 3.
He's 2 under through 3. And the other one I said, Minwoo Lee, I like him. He just looks like he's having a good time all the time, if you know what I mean.
That's true.
Come on. Australian guy looks fun. He's 1 under through 15. So I'll tell you what. How about Alex Fitzpatrick shooting 1 under today?
I know we've mentioned this before because we talk more golf than most talk radio shows, and that includes some that are on PGA Tour Radio. Hello. Okay, but he's the brother of former U.S. Open champion Matthew Fitzpatrick, who's right now a top 5 player in the world. That's how well he's playing. He's won, 2-3 times on tour this year? Matthew Fitzpatrick finished top 5 at the U.S. Open.
Yep.
His brother, Matthew, carried Alex in the team event in New Orleans.
And people
just carried him.
But yes, but because they won, this wouldn't mean anything if what you get for winning wasn't what you got. That put him in all the signature events. That's a 2-year exemption. I think it's a Masters trip, David. Or does that not? No, I don't know if that gets you a Masters, but it does give you the signature events.
And I believe it gives you the Players' Championship.
Right.
Doesn't give you the Masters, though. When Alex, the brother, was not in the top 100 in the world, and he was not qualified for any of the events that Mark just mentioned. None of them. Well, they still had like half the signature events left in the season, and he was automatically qualified. He
And
goes out and finishes
also-
top 10 in 2 of them.
that. The golf world was not happy about all the exemptions he got for a team event. And he's delivered.
Yeah. Right. They thought he was going to finish like 50th in the signature events, but get a nice payday because they're signature events. No, he's going out finishing top 10 in like 2 of them. Yeah. And he shot 69 in his first round.
So I'm impressed by that. I'm very impressed by that. He's got 1 win. He's got 1 other top 5. He's got 4 other top 10s. He's got 6 other top 25s. So had a bad PGA, had a good Memorial. T23 at the U.S. Open. Nothing wrong with that. He missed it at the Scottish. That's the only cut he's missed in a tournament he's played since. So when he got all the grief that he did, instead of folding like a cheap suit, he basically said, I'm going to stick it to all you who are giving me grief. And he has. And that I respect the hell out of that.
In fact, in a couple of those bigger events, he finished better than his brother. His brother was joking about it. Going, man, I thought he was going to be an easy mark when we played against one another. Apparently not.
When his brother won the U.S. Open there in Boston, we saw him watching with his parents. That he was, and I think they mentioned at that time he was like the 365th ranked golfer in the world. For some reason, somewhere in the 300 sticks in my head. I could be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. But I just thought that I'm impressed by him. I really am.
I'm intrigued by how the course finishes up. I mean, it's a par 70, so you already know there's not a ton of par 5s. Yeah, the answer is 2. And the answer is no par 5s among the first 14 holes. The front nine's a par 34. How many major championships have you ever seen where either 9 is a par 34? I think it's 14 and 17. Yeah, 14 and 17 are the 2 par 5s.
But it's very British Open. They're guarded by long rough. There's a few, if you're trying to get to the green, there's a few bunkers that are in your way. Yep. I've seen a few guys having to hit their third shots out of the trap. I've not seen a lot of guys close. Like DeChambeau just had a birdie putt on 14. He was 25 feet away. So the British Open presents its problems. You got to be straight off the tee. And as David's mentioned a few times this week, the way the ball rolls, you don't have to be a bomber. So
what did Christopher Powers say yesterday? Some guys have hit 5 irons 300 yards in practice.
And Smalley goes to 18 at 5 under. We said it yesterday. Thought it was a great tournament to take a shot at somebody that you don't think's going to win, but who's going to be leading on Thursday, because it's usually someone that you don't pay much attention to. And right now, Smalley with a 1-shot lead over Sergey Im and Daniel Brown, all household names, aren't they?
Alex Smalley was born in Rochester, New York, went to college at Duke. He is ranked 25th in the world right now.
I got you, but he's not on the short list of guys that you would expected to be leading after Thursday of the British Open.
Not at all. In fact, he turns 30 in October. Isn't that great, by the way? He's top 30 in the world, okay? And you could line golf fans up and show them pictures, and they couldn't pick Alex Smalley out of a lineup.
David, I said it when George McNeil was on tour. I don't think that there's any better job than being like 70th in the world in golf. No one knows who you are. You make obscene money. You golf. I mean, think about when for the most part, you're in great places in the world. Yeah, you got to go play in Detroit. Oh, well, that's a shot at my home state. Just having a little fun there, gang. But I mean, you're in San Diego, you're in Florida. If you play in the majors, you go across the pond. The weather, for the most part, outside of the British and Scottish Open, is really nice. You can go to the local bar and sit down, and no one's going to know who the hell you are. So, and there's no injuries. You know, there's other sports where that's the case too, but injuries are a problem. Even if you're playing tennis, you know, even if you're a swimmer, for crying out loud, track and field. No, I mean, golfers, yeah, there's a back injury. Yeah, there's a neck injury, but come on. So I've always thought that was an amazing job.
Mark, Tony Finau is 76th on the money list this year. He's made just under 1.6 million.
So what everybody, the week off for, I mean, there's no PGA Tour event, obviously. There's no senior tour event. I don't know if the women got the week off after their major last week.
Well, I think it's next week. The Champions Tour is playing their British Open. And then the final week of the month, it's the women playing their British Open.
DeChambeau is going to 3-putt the par 5. He just missed a putt from inside of 3 feet, and he didn't hit the hole. I mean, he didn't come close to the hole. Looked like a 12 handicapper on that one, for what it's worth.
Oops. And that noise you heard was Nick Faldo cheering. Oh, I'm sorry.
Or Brandel Chambly.
Right.
With one of the lines of the week on the Golf Channel.
What was that line again?
He said he was trying to chase Scotty and Rory, and now he's trying to trace, and I can't remember the guy, Horvat or something like that, the big YouTube golfer. So,
of course, he is laughing all the way to the bank.
He is.
He got a 9-figure signing bonus to go to the LIV Tour. 9, and we all think the first number was crooked. And he's making I don't think he's making 8 figures on YouTube, but he's making mid to high, single digit millions on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, he is such an interesting case study because I don't know what the age number is. At 50, people over 50 don't seem to like him. People under 50 really like him, or people under 40 really like him, if you will, maybe even younger than that. But the young golf fan likes DeChambeau a lot. The older golf fan, for the most part, and I know there are exceptions, but the older golf fan is incredibly critical of him. I mean, he is a major champion. He's done things I've been amazed at the personal transformation because he was an arrogant jerk early on. He's still arrogant. He's not as jerky. That's tough to do, David. It really is for any of us, let alone to be someone who's in the public eye all the time. I mean, he's completely changed his public persona over the course and did so while going to live. I mean, it's fascinating to me. But the young golf fan out there, they like him. They like him a lot. The old one, they just root against him over and over and over again. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, Call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Happy, you may not hate him. You bash him every single chance you can get. I find it, I mean, you ride both sides of the fence as well as anybody I know, bro. I actually think, to me, maybe you're not, but you come off to me as someone who likes something bad to happen to someone versus liking something good to happen to someone. Like, David and I love greatness. That's why David yesterday, while rooting for England, could just sit and enjoy what Messi did.
It's amazing.
You seem to revel by your comments, and I don't know you at all. I've talked to you one time personally. By your comments, you seem to really enjoy misfortune. That's all. And no, I didn't. I watched the first half at my country club and the second half at my house. And Sonny, I did say I understand that there are exceptions to that, but the by and large, and I'm with a lot of people that are over 60 and over 65 every day that I play golf with. Most of my friends are in that category. They typically don't like him. You may. I did say there are exceptions. If you're one, that's great. There was another one that on Twitch. I clearly stated, I know there are exceptions. As a general rule, there is a line of demarcation with Bryson when it comes to the age of the fan. Young people don't hate him. I got to be honest, Happy, I don't know and I don't care anymore because the sale did not go through. So it doesn't affect me personally. I don't really care about what happened at the British Open pub anymore. If they were sponsoring the show, I would care greatly. But there were some things that apparently happened, and now that license is in serious jeopardy, apparently. So I don't care. A lot of our audience watches a lot of golf, Sonny. Sonny, you watch a lot of everything. I'm not saying this in a bad way. You literally comment on every team and every sport and everything we do. You are obviously a monster sports fan, and I'm not being I'm not being snarky. You seem, but it doesn't matter what team we talk about. You have an opinion. Again, I'm not criticizing, but it doesn't matter what we talk about. You have an opinion. I believe that person's in Rome. That's probably why he wasn't there. If what I saw on social media is correct. If what I heard is correct, they not only will crumble, they will have to. It has nothing to do with that actual business. There are some external things that apparently have happened, and it may shut that place down from what I understand. But I don't know 100% that to be true. I got something I want to bring up here, David.
Well, then do it.
I like to shock David. That's why I'm not telling him. I mean, I think he should be. I mean, the fact that I sent a Connor Norby text to a guest after the interview.
That's an all-timer.
I pulled a Casio and solicited Pat for guests during the break, and then I'm sending another guest, Connor Norby, questions.
Hello.
Greenville, North Carolina. Hello. By the way, I think I have to go to Oregon now.
Yeah, you were saying the other day.
He has 4 bands playing. 4.
I thought yesterday it was 3.
No, it's 4.
4.
Noon, 4, 6:30, and 9, I believe. Bluegrass, country rock, blues, and then a hard rock band.
Well, Mark, I just got a phone call.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. Some final thoughts. Not much to bet on. But don't worry. There's always something. Tomorrow, in the Piper tomorrow, is Tommy Smith. Preview the World Cup final and see whether or not he criticizes the England manager.
He better.
Well, we'll see what he thinks. His opinion we respect when it concerns the beautiful game. And I think we're going to have Andy Freed on. Talk
Good.
a little Rays. Okay. Because he's got to get up early tomorrow. He's got to get to the ballpark at the AM because they got a 1:30, 7:30 double dip at Fenway with the red-hot Red Sox.
So I'm going to bring up a subject that I'm hoping when I bring it up that David doesn't pass out because I'm bringing it up.
Oh, well, now I'm very interested.
But there have been 3 things that have happened in this particular league in the last basically week. One's maybe a couple weeks old, but there have been some things going on that continue to give this league an awful look. And this league, I have admitted, is far more popular than I gave it credit for. Its TV numbers are good, better than some sports that I watch. It, of course, is the league I love to talk about, the WNBA.
I knew it.
But it has looked on the surface to those of us who don't watch and read articles and peruse headlines and look at X, it has looked foolish here in the last little while because a story has come out which the WNBA has totally denied that Adam Silver was the one who approached the WNBA commissioner to suspend the gal that put the chokehold on Clark or punched her in the throat or whatever the hell happened there. Punched her in the throat's more accurate. WNBA says that's not true. Okay. Secondly, and you know, I like this show. I sucks that it takes us off an hour in a couple of the markets that we're in. But the commissioner of the WNBA blew off, I would say, the biggest sports talk show in the country. Booked an appearance and then blew them off. Like, blew them off. Didn't answer calls. And then finally, after 2 hours, almost 2 hours of waiting, said, our PR department said not to do it or something along those lines. And then lastly, we talked about it briefly in the starting 5. They have a Caitlin Clark problem because Caitlin gets treated differently than most anybody in the league. And now she does act like a petulant child out there. She does. I mean, she's damn near Draymond when she argues with officials. I'm trying to think of a solid comp, David. I know she plays a different game than he does, so it's tough to do, but I'm not trying to, I can't think of 3-point shooting specialists, scorers from the outside that complain to officials quite the way she does. You know, Draymond gets all the tees. I think she's on the verge of starting to get them.
right, he's a different player than her because she's a shooter, but she complains to the officials the way that a young Russell Westbrook did.
Okay, there you go. But David, I mean, they just announced their all-star teams, and a couple people that aren't in the league anymore kind of because Caitlin was voted like 11th
By the players.
players. There was a triple vote. It was players, coaches, fans. She only got on the team because of the fans, which is just a joke. I mean, put it this way. There were a few PGA guys that didn't like Tiger. There were. They didn't like the attention he was getting, but they shut their mouths pretty quickly because they started cashing the checks.
I was going to say.
And she ain't Tiger. Like, she is not Tiger from a talent standpoint. I don't think she's the best player in that league. I said before she got to that league, it was going to be interesting because it's going to be far more physical for her. I said this when she was at Iowa. And go back and listen. But from a move the needle standpoint, from a revenue generating standpoint, she's a lot like Tiger to golf. I don't know. I mean, is it Bird Magic Jordan who changed the NBA? Yeah. This commissioner, blowing off an interview with the national show when she's hitting range balls and they can see her. It was at that golf tournament in Tahoe. She's literally hitting first off, she's hitting bunker shots. You're practicing bunker shots before a pro-am tournament? You're an idiot. Secondly, if anybody's doing that, come on, stop. Go hit your balls, get loose, and go play. You're hitting bunker shots instead of doing the Dan Patrick show? Wow, that is just a horrible, when they can see you and you're blowing them off. She before us, she's gotten herself in trouble with some of the other things she said about the league and, not talking to players. This commissioner, I'm unsure how she has a job, David.
Listen, I just go back to the NBA did not allow teams and the rest of the league to treat Bird, Magic, and Michael anywhere close to how she's being treated. And could you imagine the NBA, who made the decision before any other league? They made this decision over 40 years ago. We're going to promote our stars. And could you imagine sending out a promotion poster? Because I believe this is the 30th year of the WNBA. So they have a top 30 players of all time. And there are 8 current players on the poster. And one of them's not Caitlin Clark. I mean, listen, I love Magic, love Bird, love Michael. Mark, you can actually argue in her first 2.5 years, she's done more for the WNBA than they did for the NBA because they were flying commercial. They were flying coach. They were having flights being canceled and teams showing up late for playoff games. Okay? Now they travel private. They went from a league that no one watched and no one paid attention to, whose championship series were on cable. And now the championship series is on ABC. And people watch the league far more than they watch the NHL, by the way. At least during the regular season. Okay, you may hate the league. You may have watched it 20 years ago. The product is staggeringly better now than it was in its first 10, 15 years. And you'll probably never be convinced of it because you're never going to watch it again. And that's fine. But this woman who's the commissioner is not up to the job at all.
And that's what I'm talking about. Look, I'm not even going to go to, and I've said them before, the reasons why Caitlin Clark, why I believe that she's not liked. I get it. I'm not even going there. I'm talking about the lady who's running the league. I'm not talking about animosity from other players. I'm talking about how the commissioner's handling this. She's tone deaf to the media and she's tone deaf to the networks. That's going to bite her in the you know what. That's all.
Okay. I saw a promo for a WNBA game the other day in which the Indiana Fever were in the game and Caitlin Clark was not in the promo. Seriously? Seriously. Why do you think we're going to watch?
It seems as if they're going out of their way to distance themselves from someone that's bringing them all the money. It makes no sense to us. Miller and Moulton.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
And Enzo, to be honest, that argument's just too easy. And you know, I know that it's true, but that's not what my point there was. I'm at the commissioner. The commissioner's got to do better. And the commissioner pretending that she's not, you know, what she is where's Adam Silver? I don't get it. I just don't. By the way, I'm curious, just a quick yes or no. Did any of you watch the ESPYs, and particularly the monologue, and was the guy funny? And if I'm the Mets and the Phillies, I'm pissed off. Why am I playing today? All right. Well, Guillermo, then there's that. You know, Baby Jules, are you streamer or are you cable? I only ask because since I've gone to streaming, if nothing's on, I don't turn the TV on anymore. It's really weird. Like I used to always just turn the television on. I don't. Like I didn't even think about, okay. And you still watch. Good for you. Like I don't even think about something like the ESPYs. And if I would have heard of the comedian and liked him, because I've watched a little more stand-up recently with my wife, maybe I would have been in. That might be a me thing. By the way, David, I went on LinkedIn the other day for something, and I don't do it very often, but now I'm getting emails again. And now I'm getting, because I still had a thing in there for job alerts for salespeople. Manager, sponsorship, and NIL sales. Florida Gulf Coast University is one of the jobs that came to me today.
What's the job?
Manager, sponsorship, and NIL sales is how it's listed.
Oh. You should sign up for it. Say, I'm going to work 11 to 3 every day. And trust me, I'll double what you were making before.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes until we're done for the day. If you missed any part of the show, like last hour when we had both Pat Kirwan and Kyle Sielaff on, go to millerandmoulton.com and download what you missed.
There you have it. Might as well get right to it. With that intro, I'm going to get right to it. I can tell he's got nothing here. We've kind of gone through everything, and there, no more British Open updates for you. You're going to watch in 10 minutes if you're not watching already.
I mean, I was going to add one or two things from what we were talking about last segment, but it's stuff that interests you and I more than I think it interests our audience. So I'll just keep it to myself.
Fair enough.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Which kind of goes against what you're supposed to do when you're co-hosting a talk show. But you know what? After 20 years, sometimes you realize, listen, I may make great points. We might even put that on a best of tape. But I don't know if 4 people care.
I actually do think 4 people care, but I know what's on tap so short today that unless I go really long, you're going to have time. And
I may just jump in on every point you make to get us to the finish line.
I'm going to go long with this one. We start in 1790. Congress, the young Congress, signs the Residence Act, which says that a swampy, muddy, mosquito-infested site on the Potomac between Maryland and Virginia will be the nation's permanent capital. Obviously, named after George Washington, but Washington hired the architect and city planner to design the Capitol. He never lived in the Capitol. It was not inhabitable until 1800. John Adams was the White House first president. He and his wife Abigail lived there less than a year. Jefferson moved in 1801. There's There's some useless knowledge for you, everybody. All right. 1935, the world's first parking meter, known as the Park-O-Meter #1, was installed on First and Robertson and Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Hello. 1941, Joe D goes 3 for 4, hitting in his 56th consecutive game. Today in 1951, J.D. Salinger had The Catcher in the Rye published. The Tigers in Briggs Stadium are sold for a record $5.5 million today in 1956. 1969, Apollo 11 launches, taking the first men to land on the moon. Today in 73, during the televised Watergate hearings, Alexander Butterfield reveals the tapes. White House aide revealed the existence of Nixon's taping system. 94, at Dodger Stadium, the Three Tenors perform with the LA Philharmonic and the chorus of the LA Opera. 1.3 billion people watched worldwide. JFK Jr. died today in 1999 in a plane crash off of Martha's Vineyard. Martha Stewart became OG today in 2004. This is probably when she and Snoop got tight. She was sentenced to 5 months in prison and then 5 months in home confinement.
Talk about street cred.
Damn straight. 2008. I'm going to read this how it was written on a site that I pulled it from, David. Billy Joel bids goodbye to Flushing, New York's iconic Shea Stadium with the first of 2 star-studded concerts. Sadly, this is the highlight of the Mets season. That's no writer's embellishment. That is stolen completely.
Is that 08?
Yeah.
Yeah. They got eliminated for the second year in a row. They got eliminated from the playoffs on the final game of the season.
Today in 2017, Federer wins his 8th men's title. That was a record at the time. Taylor Swift re-recorded album Speak Now debuted at #1 today in 2023. Her 12th #1 album, surpassing Barbra Streisand's record for #1 albums by a female artist. 3 years ago today, in a classic final, Alcaraz beats Djokovic, ending his 34-match win streak at the All England Club in 5 sets. Shoeless Joe Jackson, Orville Redenbacher, Ginger Rogers, and Claude Lemieux would have all celebrated birthdays today. Jimmy Johnson's 83. Stuart Copeland from The Police is 74. Michael Flatley, Lord of the Dance, that was a big thing. He's 68. Terry Pendleton, 66. I added that one for me. I liked him. Phoebe Cates, 63. Will Ferrell, 59. Barry Sanders, 58. This is on the, should they be on this list? Probably not, but I included them anyhow. Corey Feldman's 56. And Ed Kowalczyk from the band Live, he's also 56. Big fan of that band. Adam Scott won the 13 Masters. He's 46. And Duncan Keith is 43. David, Duncan Keith's in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Really? Really?
Well,
Hall of Fame.
I know. Well, he got credit for, along with Kane and Tays, that there was, their big 3 and Duncan Keith. And so, how many Norris did he win? I think he won at least 3.
Okay. I don't think of him as, when I saw that, I'm like, he's a Hall of Famer?
Well, you felt about him the way I felt about Chris Hamburger.
Right. Now I got to
Really?
see how many Norris. So now you're making me look things up during the show. I hate doing that.
Well, we don't have a lot of games to promote.
No,
so
he
I
won
need
two.
to-
He won two,
Two Norris?
but he
Okay.
did get a Conn Smythe.
Yeah, and they won 3 cups.
Right. So, all right. That one got me a little bit. That one surprised me.
Right. Chris Hamburger, by the way, a Redskins linebacker, late 60s, all through the 70s. And I said, oh, no, he was a good player. He wasn't a great player. Mark goes, hey, Moulton, he's in the Hall of Fame. I went, what? He made 9 Pro Bowls. He was a 5-time All-Pro, 4-time first-team All-Pro.
That's big. I mean,
That's big.
And the Pro Bowl meant more then than it does now, but
It did.
All Pro is the big one. Miss
Yep.
anything?
Well, there's a chance I may have missed something, and I'm asking you about it. So, did you have anything from 1945, the atomic bomb?
No, I didn't.
The first atomic bomb, the Manhattan Project, okay, we successfully exploded the first atomic bomb in Alamogordo, New Mexico. And in 51, Catcher in the Rye.
Had that one.
Okay, there you go. I did not realize that it was J.D. Salinger's only fully completed book.
Start there. Where are you going to go?
I just got that. Yeah.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Never lose your sense of humor, Danny. Never lose your sense of humor. And that's what Nancy did. Nancy Delostretto. She lives in Florida. And I just got one of these because my birthday's in August, and all of a sudden I got my new registration with the license plate. So now I got to memorize a new license plate number, which kind of is a pain in the ass. But Nancy got herself a new plate, too. You see, Nancy's 77, and she lives in a retirement community, and she was a little confused when her new license plate read SQZ A55. I don't know if you know what that looks like, but from afar, that looks like squeeze ass, everybody.
Hello.
And the 77-year-old said, well, I don't think a woman that lives in a senior community that's going to be 77 next month should be driving around with the plate that has that to say. It's been the talk of a retirement community, of course, around the men. Now she's decided she's going to keep it. She could get a new plate, but she says, I can handle it if I get a few honks here and there. So squeeze ass.
I was going to say, I think we could all handle a few honks.
Right. For the bad, we go to Maryland, where not only did a gentleman steal a cat, he then took the cat on a crime spree. After stealing a cat from an adoption habitat at the Beltsville Pet Supply Store, he immediately took her across the street to a PNC bank where he tried to use her as an accessory in an attempted robbery. He asked the bank manager to hold the kitten. He wrote a note demanding the teller for all the cash. The robbery was not successful. I think the funny part of it is that the lady from the cat store, from the place that gave the adopted cats to the cat store, found out about it and ran across the street and saw all the cop cars and said, wow, that's a lot of police for a stolen cat. Finally, the ugly, we come back to Florida and go to St. Petersburg, where Jonathan Nemeth was arrested and taken into jail early 2 mornings ago for being spotted outside of an apartment building at 2:30 in the morning with his pants down while inserting a toy you know where.
Oh, boy.
The father of 2, who is a tattoo artist, was taken and booked into jail. That is the good, the bad, and the Man, there's a Zappa song about it, but I can't say it on air. Ugly. Brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department, offering great pay, great jobs, overtime, benefits, all kinds of great things. More than we get here. CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com.
Well, I guess we jinxed Alex Smalley. He had 6 birdies and 1 bogey going to 18. Hit a 1-shot lead in the Open Championship. And the 25-year-old American made 6 on the par 4 18th. So 4 under is your leaders in the clubhouse. Daniel Brown of England, Sung Jae Im of South Korea, 4 under 66s. There's, I think there's 9 golfers, 8 or 9 at 3 under. Half are in the clubhouse. The other half are on the course, including Scheffler and DeChambeau. They're both 3 under with 2 holes to play. And some big names at 1 and 2 under. Rory tees off in 25 minutes. So for those of you interested, Rory, Xander Schauffele, and Matthew Fitzpatrick in 25 minutes.
By the way, Maverick McNeely at 3 under. I mean, he's had a good year. But that would be a big surprise if he were still there on the weekend. Just, one of the names that I'm a little surprised to see off to a great start. Good player, though. Good player.
Yep. Would love to see him at least, keep it going to Saturday and then see how he could handle the weekend. In contention, if you will. But, only 2 66s, and that's 4 under. There's the par 70 course.
And it's playing as easily as it's, it's fast and hard, but the wind's not really blowing. It's a beautiful day up there. Beautiful day.
So, 2 WNBA games, if you're interested. Portland at Washington, New York at Dallas. Dallas is Paige Becker's. And 1 baseball game. Mets at Phillies. You'd be surprised that the Phillies are only slight favorites. It's all pitching. Young, hard-throwing right-hander for the Mets. And Aaron Nola, whose ERA is like 6.5 for the Phillies.
If I'm either any of the players on those 2 teams, I'm pissed I'm playing today. I'm not kidding.
Totally.
Really, I got to play on Thursday after the All-Star break. What a joke. Miller and Moulton. That makes it a Friday tomorrow. Will it be a football Friday? Hell, I don't know.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move. From pricing your home to negotiating the best deal, I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and the best personal service. That's the difference.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton